The green flag flies, and it's time to drop the hammer. The green flag flies, and it's time to drop the hammer.
It's free wide, heading towards the checkers.
Oh, everybody's crashing!
Side for the win!
He muscles him up and out of the groove! Now contact and around!
And this is gonna stack up about 15 of them!
It's 3 wide for 3 rows! Kyle Larson has pulled off grand larceny!
Unbelievable!
NASCAR is at the Kansas Speedway. We have returned to America's heartland today for 400 miles around what is becoming one of the most entertaining racetracks on the NASCAR calendar. Hello, one and all. I'm Matthew Owens. Welcome to Kansas. Thanks for having us in for the race. Our Ultimate Sports Racing team welcomes you to America's Heartland. Matt White, Seth Eves, JT, they're all with us today, coming right up in just a moment. JT pressing a bunch of buttons as usual behind the scenes. Fun times. We are ready to go in Kansas. It is race 9 of the NASCAR Cup Series season. It has been a very entertaining start to the season. It's also been a start to the season that has seen dominance by particularly one organization, or maybe you could say 2 organizations that you draw a dotted line next to each and every time you talk about them. But Toyota, with 2311 Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing, they have been almost unstoppable so far in this season, and we're coming off of a race last week in Bristol where they were once again the big winners. And what we're going to have today is perhaps more of the same, as you can already see on the left side of your screen. 4 Toyotas in the top 5 starting positions. Perhaps it will be another Toyota dominant day here in Kansas. Can't wait to talk all about it. We are in hurry-up mode for this pre-race show, as the green flag is only about 15 minutes away. So let's talk about the championship standings coming into race 9 of the year. Now, of course, we are still very early into a very long season, but this is the quarter pole mark of the year. Tyler Reddick has, of course, won 4 of the first 8 races. That puts him 62 points clear of Ryan Blaney at the top of the championship standings. Denny Hamlin is 3rd. Tai Gibbs has been ultra consistent since we've gotten away from the drafting tracks. His win at Bristol last week, the first of his career, puts him 4th in the championship ahead of Chase Elliott. Second page of the standings, 6 through 10, Larson, Byron, Wallace, Bell, and Buescher. More about guys like Larson, Byron, and Wallace as we go on throughout the day. Brad Keselowski currently sits inside the Chase field. Of course, it's the top 16 that make it into the new/old Chase for the Cup. Carson Hocevar is still inside that cut line too, and he's had a good qualifying run this weekend. Ryan Preece, who won the season opening exhibition race in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at Bowman Gray, he and Daniel Suarez just inside the cut line. Page 4 tells you the story about who's just inside the Chase and who is just outside of it. Shane Van Gisbergen, off of what was a pretty miserable Bristol weekend, now sits just 1 point above the Chase cut line. And below the Chase cut line is Chase himself, Briscoe that is. He's recovered just a bit after his putrid start to the season. He's now just 1 point below the Chase cut line. Austin Cindric, Michael McDowell, and A.J. Allmendinger just a handful of points out. Maximum point gain possible in one race this year is 76, which means the championship standings could always be flipped on its head depending on what happens with not only your race finish, but also your stage finishes. As I said, Matt White and Seth Eves to help cover the race here this afternoon, and JT producing in many different ways. So, guys, Matt, as I bring you in here, let's talk about the top of the championship standing, shall we? Tyler Reddick has won 4 of the first 8 races. He's got a very large lead at the top of these championship standings, and he's used to being first this season, including today. He starts first.
Yeah, they're sick of seeing Tyler Reddick at the top of the timing towers and point standings and everything else, aren't they? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kansas. You only have to think back to the fall race here last year, dominated by Toyota until 2 corners from home where pretty much they all crashed into each other and let a Chevrolet through to win. Could we see something similar in terms of the domination today? Well, 2 Camrys on the front row to start the afternoon.
Reddick and Blaney have been 2 of the best drivers all season long in the Cup Series, and talk about Ryan Blaney, Seth. He was terrific last weekend at Bristol. Many people believed he had the best race car there. He didn't lead the most laps, though, because his pit crew kept putting him back in traffic. In the end, they went on a different strategy than the winner, came basically half of a tenth of a second away from winning that race. There's been a change on pit road for the 12 team, and that's been badly needed.
Oh, yeah, without question, it's been badly needed. And you're talking now about a guy they've made a change, obviously, so they need that because his performance is too good to have it be wasted by this pit crew. And, I mean, the driver's doing his part. Now the rest of the team's got to step up.
Matt, last 5 races, Ryan Blaney's pit crew has lost him a combined 88 positions on pit road.
Yeah, if only that was determined by a starting spot. He'd start in downtown Kansas, wouldn't he, today? He'd be so far back. But, yeah, it's probably the biggest outlying number of the season is that terrible. He and that team are so terrible in pit lane. But if it wasn't for Tyler Reddick winning all the time, he'd be much closer to him in the points, and he's still second. So swings and roundabouts, but the change was certainly necessary and needed. We'll see how it's affected going forward over the next few weeks.
Matt, let's talk about our winner from last week. A first-time winner in the Cup Series, Tai Gibbs. What a result.
Finally. We've been talking this up for, feels like 2, maybe 3 years now. Ever since he broke through to win that Xfinity. It was the Xfinity Championship, of course, then. A few years ago at Phoenix. A weekend tinged with tragedy, of course, for the family. But he's been close on so many occasions and then was sort of nowhere for a bit. And you thought, oh, it's never going to come. He's going to luck into one of these things in a rain-shortened / fuel race, something like that. But actually, last week at Bristol, he was decent, running well after a bit of a slow start, and he held off the 2 best cars all day in those final couple of restarts in Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson to take the victory. Very slim victory, but he still got the checkered flag nevertheless. So more Toyota wins, but good to see young Ty finally get himself on the board.
Not only did he hold off the best 2 cars all day, he held them off while they were on fresher tires than he was.
Indeed.
So Seth Tai Gibbs finally has his first win. Now the conversation is he a championship contender? You see him 4th on your screen in the championship standings. If you take out the 2 drafting track super speedway races at the start of the year, he's finished no worse than 6th this season.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent, as you said, and now he's got a real opportunity to have a chance to even go further up in the point standings today. Again, 105 back, and I think a lot of people are still taking a wait-and-see approach with him. They just want to make sure that he is in the running and that he can keep this up through May, June, July, and all the other times before we get to the end of a season. So, but for right now, he looks pretty solid.
He does indeed. Now the series comes to Kansas. Entertaining mile-and-a-half racetrack. Let's take a look at the track. No out of bounds here. You can dive onto the apron on the front straightaway. Teams will be doing that all day long. Progressive banking in the corners, Matt, so you can go bottom, top, middle, but boy, you can slide up and make contact with guys up by that safer barrier like we just saw right there with Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, pinch point coming off of turn 2. We've seen that over the years, and a big one yesterday. We'll talk about that later on during the show. One of our favourite tracks because of its multiple lines and multiple grooves, and as you say, no out of bounds. Everywhere is free running, and it produces some really good racing as we've seen over the last sort of handful of years. Of course, this is the place where the closest finish in history came a couple of years back with Kyle Larson nosing Chris Buescher to victory. So hopefully it continues to be a good day at Kansas. As you can see, that wall comes up at you quite quickly off of turn 2 there. You have to be wary of that, and off of turn 4. So big, wide, fast mile and a half. The sort of first proper mile and a half of the season. So looking forward to this one.
Should be an interesting race. We talk about the progressive banking. You can see the car change levels when you go bottom to middle to top, and you can get things done here in any of those 3 lanes. Cars on the racetrack, here's ones to watch.
After a terrible run last weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, William Byron and Team 24 come to Kansas this week in a hope that it would be a track that they would go well at. The stats, unfortunately for them, tell a different story. In 8 next-gen starts here at Kansas, he has 4 top 10 finishes, 3 finishes outside the top 15. It's not been a happy hunting ground, and nor have the mile and a halves, contrary to popular belief. Their last win on a mile and a half track was all the way back in 2023 at Texas Motor Speedway. Points mean prizes, and after a terrible points day last week, William Byron and the 24 team need to get back in the saddle here at Kansas this weekend.
It's fair to say it's been a disappointing start to the 2026 season for Ross Chastain, currently sitting outside of the top 20 in points and just 1 top 15 finish. That came back at Atlanta. However, Chastain has had a knack for cooking up wins and smashing melons on the mile and a halves. He won here in the fall of 2024, and his last 2 wins have come on mile and a half tracks. Kansas in 24, and last year in the World 600. Today, Ross Chastain looks to get his season back on track at the Kansas Speedway.
Ever since 2311 joined the NASCAR Cup Series, Kansas has been considered one of, if not their best racetrack. Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Darrell Wallace Jr. have all won at the track for the team. And Wallace has been really good here, but sometimes hasn't gotten the finishes that perhaps he deserved, including last fall when he was leading in the final laps but finished 5th. As you can see, it's been a mixed bag of results at Kansas over the last 7 races for Wallace at the racetrack, but it hasn't been much of a mixed bag of lately in 2026. In the last 3 races, an average finish of 27th has dropped Wallace from 2nd in the championship standings down to 8th. Today, he looks to get back on the right track at one of his best tracks. Ones to watch here today in Kansas. Some threats to win this 400-miler in America's heartland. So cars on the racetrack, and we are just about ready to go in what should be a very fun race here today. Let's take a look at the starting grid for today's AdventHealth 400. Tyler Reddick is on the pole. This is his 5th front row start of the year. He's next to Denny Hamlin. His 4 Kansas wins is more than anyone else. Bristol winner Tai Gibbs lines up in row 2 alongside Kyle Larson, who's won this race each of the last 2 years. Chase Briscoe starts 5th. He's been in the top 5 in the last 2 races at Kansas. And the Hurricane Carson Hocevar comes to Tornado Alley. Chris Buescher in row 4, runner-up here in 2024, next to Daniel Suarez, starting top 10 for the 2nd time this year. And then it's Ryan Blaney, 6 top 10s in 8 races this year, along with Darrell Wallace Jr.
Good friends next to each other on row 5. On row 6, it's Christopher Bell and Ryan Preece, Toyota and Ford. Row 7, 2 Hendrick cars, Chase Elliott and one of our ones to watch, 24 car of William Byron. Row 8 would be Joey Logano, but he's dropping to the back for unapproved adjustment. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. lines up next to him. Kansas best qualifying for Shane Van Gisbergen on row 9 alongside Michael McDowell. And row 10, the 43 car of Eric Jones and the 3 of Austin Dillon.
Brett Keselowski won here back in 2011. He's joined by Riley Herbst in the 11th row. Row 12, Kyle Busch and Corey Heim in the Cup Series today. Teammates make up the 13th row, Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland, and all front row, 13th row. Colleagues A.J. Allmendinger's in row 14, along with Noah Gregson from Nevada. Cole Custer, fresh off a top 10 of the Grand National race last night, along with Tennessee's Josh Berry, makes up row 15. One of our ones to watch, Ross Chastain, gonna have to do it from row 16. He's with John Hunter Nemechek. Alex Bowman, second race back, and Austin Cindric in row 17. Row 18, Cody Ware, and a bright orange Connor Zillich. He should have ran that at Bristol last week. And then shotgun on the field, Ty Dillon in the Colleague number 10. That's the starting lineup for the AdventHealth 400 from Kansas.
17 Chevrolets to go with 10 Toyotas and 10 Fords for this 400-miler today. Now, Matt, talk us through the keys to the race.
Yeah, it's time for the whiteboard. Our keys to Kansas for the afternoon. Couple of points to look at. Is this going to be a lean and green race, or will it be rash with yellow fever? We've had multiples of both over the last few years, and that will sort of pitch and swerve throughout the day depending on how this race goes. That will, of course, affect tyre and fuel strategy. And talking of which, pit road entry is going to be very vital, especially in green flag pit stops. It is very tricky to get down to pit road speed here off the racetrack under racing speed. And it's Toyotas versus the field perhaps today. As I mentioned before, there was 5 of them in contention on the last lap to win here in the fall, and none of them did. So they have something to go after, and they start first and second, as we've mentioned, with Reddick and Hamlin on the front row. That's the whiteboard for Kansas Speedway this afternoon.
Not quite our fastest pre-race show ever, but fairly close.
Not far from it.
And it was really well timed, thank you everybody, as we're a half lap away from green. We haven't done picks to click in a while. Quickly, 5 seconds. Pick to click. Matt?
Pick to click. Bubba Wallace, 23 car. I know he's one of our ones to watch as well,
yeah.
But I think he's going to be strong today.
Seth?
You know, I'm in a position in life where I have to save money, so I'll take the cheap answer. Pole sitter, 45, Tyler Reddick.
All right, very good. Ready to go here in Kansas. It is a much cooler day than it has been at times when we've come to Kansas in the spring. Temperatures in the upper 60s, might just touch 70 before day's end. Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin on the front row. Reddick has won 4 of the season's first 8 races. The championship leader brings the field to green with his team boss Denny Hamlin to his right elbow. Good crowd on hand. Jump to their feet as the green flag flies. It's time to drop the hammer in America's heartland. We're underway at Kansas. 2x2 racing to turn 1. Toyotas at the front of the field. On the inside, Tyler Reddick. To his outside, Denny Hamlin.
Whoa, sliding up is Tai Gibbs, and he makes it 4 wide almost as they try to get past him. Almost 4 wide again around 11th place as they go into turn 3. But at the front, it's the 2 Toyotas, Reddick and Hamlin. They pull up to about a 4-car length lead on Kyle Larson.
Denny Hamlin is going to lead the first lap, but by a nose as they come across the finish line from the car that he owns, of course, Tyler Reddick in the 45. They almost touch as they head towards turn number 1 with Reddick on the inside. He wants the lead back, and he has it.
Reddick to the lead, Hamlin second. Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe dives to the inside of Kyle Larson, and he will grab the number 3 position. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's all Toyotas at the front. Oh, great corner entry for Reddick going into 4. He leads. Larson now may be in danger of losing 4th to Carson Hocevar.
Lead Toyotas right down the middle of the racetrack through the banking of turns 3 and 4 between the hash marks. Larson will stay ahead of Hocevar. Now Ty Gibbs, the Bristol winner. He'll get to the inside of Hocevar as they race back to the corner.
Oh, yes, indeed. I knew this was going to happen at least once. Hocevar, great run coming out of turn 2. Talk about a spicy car shot out of a chili cannon. Blows by Gibbs and Larson. He'll look for the slide job in front of Larson, and he does it. Ride the Dente indeed.
Yeah, certainly is. And he is up in a 4th place with that move on Kyle Larson. Just behind them, Ryan Blaney getting into the action here. He's side by side with Ty Gibbs heading to 1. And we'll try and complete that pass. Larson trying to fight back against Hocevar for 4th.
Far has it wound up on the outside off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, at the front, here's Denny Hamlin to the inside of Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin goes back to the lead on the approach of turn 3. Reddick now to second, Briscoe third. Great time for a replay. Okay, anyway, back to the booth.
Hamlin has led laps in 5 of the 8 races this year. He'll lead this lap, but Tyler Reddick isn't willing to give him another. Reddick dives to the inside of Hamlin for the lead back in 1. Reddick right at the bottom, Hamlin right at the top.
Top side works is the preferred line, at least off of turn 2 it is. And so Hamlin has the lead and he legs out a little bit. Reddick has now fallen into the clutches of Briscoe for the number 2 position. Thank you for the random shot of the 23 pit crew.
So Hamlin leading, Briscoe coming into the mirrors of Tyler Reddick for second. A little bit further back, Blaney, Preece and Wallace line astern for 7th, 8th and 9th. William Byron just tucking into the top 10 as well.
Indeed he is. So good action for that Ryan Preece in that multicolored number 60 car today. You really can't miss it. It's Ryan, and Bubba. Blaney, Preece, Wallace back there at 7th, 8th, and 9th. 2 Fords at a Toyota. Preece now getting a good run through turn 3. He'll try to wind it up on the outside.
He does get a good run off the exit of turn 4. Further back, plenty of traffic, including Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon, Richard Childress Racing teammates. Boy, has a lot been talked about RCR this week. They're just ahead of Austin Cindric in the very colorful PPG Paintsmobile. Eric Jones is there too. This is outside the top 20.
Indeed, it is outside the top 20. Jones is going to slide just in front of an on-rushing Dillon. So Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, of course, in the news. He and Denny Hamlin yapping this week. What else is new?
Their teammate is new. He's a race winner, and we're on board with Tai Gibbs heading back towards turn number 1. If you're watching pictures through Fox and the international feed, Gibbs in 6th position in that swish-looking blue and yellow machine this week.
But it's all Denny Hamlin at the front. He has about a 5-car length lead over Tyler Reddick. Then it's Briscoe, Hocevar, Larson, Gibbs, Blaney, Preece, Wallace, and Byron, your early top 10, as they are now starting to settle in just a little bit.
Denny Hamlin has always ran this racetrack extremely well. 4 wins and 5 runner-up finishes at the Kansas Speedway. He leads the field here early. A duel for 8th taking place in turns 1 and 2, Seth. Ryan Preece will take it to the top of the banking. Darrell Wallace Jr. tries to get to his inside. That battle not good enough for Fox cameras to stay on, so let's pick up Zane Smith and Josh Berry.
Indeed, with Joey Logano lurking, as Matt mentioned, he had to start at the rear of the field due to some issues. Berry gets by Smith. Now Logano has a run on Smith. Good entry to turn 3 for that white, green, and red 22 of Logano, who will now fight Berry.
Yeah, Noah Gregson also had to drop to the rear as well, so both of those guys are going to be trying to come through the field as quickly as they can. Logano will pass his quasi-teammate Josh Berry as they head back towards 1. Berry will try and fight this on the outside with John Hansen Nemechek in the Dollar Tree 42 just in front.
Check Berry and Logano back there is Reddick now in second. Boy, we just can't focus on a battle, can we?
10 laps complete so far here in Kansas. Flash up on our screen here on the Ultimate Sports Media Network, whatever we're calling this channel. Who knows? You'd like to know your name.
At Ultimate Sports Media.
You'd like to know your name, but, it changes so often. Flash up the race analysis. Didn't get a chance to flash that up for you during our accelerated pre-race. 267 laps, 400 miles, 644 kilometers. And as you can see, this first stage is 80 laps long. Second stage just a tick north of that. Final stage will run 102 laps. And the race record was indeed set here by Denny Hamlin in 2012, the second year of this spring Kansas race. Average speed of 144 miles an hour. Kansas Speedway came on to the NASCAR scene for the first time a quarter of a century ago, if you can believe. 2001 was the first race here, won by Jeff Gordon. In fact, the top 2 finishers were the exact same in each of the first 2 Cup Series races at Kansas. Jeff Gordon won both. Ryan Newman finished second in both. You don't have to look that up because, well, I've known that for 25 years. Alex Bowman and Joey Logano battling for position. Logano trying to get his way towards the front, Seth. He'll dive to the inside of Bowman into the corner.
Check the Bill Weber reference off your card as Joey Logano slides in front of Alex Bowman. He is the third biggest mover tied for the second biggest mover I noticed this on the board a minute ago, guys. Corey Heim has moved inside the top 20. Again, the biggest mystery in this sport right now isn't about a package, isn't about horsepower, isn't about a point system for me. It's how does Corey Heim not at least have a full-time O'Reilly ride?
Well, remember last year in this race, Matt, this was one of the Cup races that Heim ran, this Spring Kansas race, and he was the highest finishing Toyota in this race a year ago.
Yeah. He was the only one to avoid the carnage of that day, but yeah, too good to be out as much as he is. And when he does turn up in the Truck Series now as a champion, he goes on and wins races. Is that paint scheme on the front of Bell's car, or is that a big piece of debris on the front of the Reese's number 20?
That looks like a Walmart bag on the nose of the 20 car. He has two cars around him, Seth. Perhaps he could fall behind either Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Riley Herbst, try to get the nose underneath one of those two cars and get that debris off the nose, because if he doesn't, that's going to be a problem. Front nose, that's right.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on that. Meanwhile, fourth place battle going to turn 1. And now, for God's sake!
By the way, let me just, wow, as they get very close together, Riley Herbst and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Herbst, well, he definitely played a role last week in Bristol. Let me just correct myself, not the top finishing Toyota last year in this race, Heim, the top finishing 2311 car. He outran Reddick and Wallace. Christopher Bell was second, the highest finishing Toyota, of course. Wow. Been some close racing here early. Carson Hocevar and Kyle Larson continue to battle for the 4th position. In fact, let's pick up that battle heading to Seth off 2.
Oh, great run off the corner by Hocevar, and he will keep that number 4 position. Meanwhile, as again, we're being the Red Farmer treatment, I guess. It's Riley Herbst and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down the back straightaway battling the World Championship of what? 30th? Is this what this is? I have no idea. Herbst has the position. Okay, so it's not that far deep, but it's still the World Championship of place that we don't need to be focusing on.
Yeah, 15th of this battle.
So.
15th. Okay, good run for those guys early, but Heim's catching them.
Let's talk a little bit about Riley Herbst for a moment, because of course we had unfortunate happenings take place on our airwaves last weekend. Everybody knows by now, but you just didn't see it on this channel. Matt, Riley Herbst, who earlier in the race got together with Kyle Busch. Well, late in the race, Kyle Busch wanted revenge. It had been brewing for about 150 or 200 laps. Busch took out his anger, spun Herbst around. That's what created the caution that created overtime. And I kind of segued into this saying that this was a conversation about Riley. It really isn't. This is more of a conversation about Kyle. Matt, a lot's been talked about Kyle Busch this week, and he hasn't taken well to most of it.
No, sounds like he was out swinging yesterday in the media availability with most of the members of the NASCAR pen, but Jeff Gluck got the main crux of the conversation from Kyle Busch. Yeah, all of that for Kyle, and he still didn't end up getting his own way, really, because Tai Gibbs, the man who replaced him at Gibbs, still ended up winning the race. So it didn't quite work out in round terms. As Christopher Bell managed to get that trash off the grill of his 20, just going to check in on that. If he hasn't, he might get a chance here behind Daniel Suarez. But yeah, a lot of talk about Kyle Busch this week. The falling from grace of a past champion and one of the legends of this sort of era of the sport, perhaps. We didn't really talk about it too much when Jimmy Johnson was on his way out, or even perhaps Tony Stewart, but it seems to be a conversation that people want to have about Kyle Busch over this little spring portion of the season.
He is currently running in the 23rd position. Teammate battle heading
just
to
behind his teammate.
Yeah, just behind his teammate. Teammate battle between Chase Elliott and William Byron. We'll have to talk about the woes of Hendrick Motorsports last week in Bristol as we go on. You heard a little bit about that in Ones to Watch with William Byron. But let's continue to follow this battle for 4th as they head to Seth Eves in turn 2.
And Larson makes the pass. So Kyle Larson now to 4th. Hocevar drops back a spot real quick. Our man JT's on it, says the bag is off the Christopher Bell car. Connor Zilic, quote, "It's just not turning at all." Randall Burnett, copy that, man. I see it's really bad. His rough rookie season looks set to continue.
Zilic running back in the 36th position. There was a lot of conversation last week, Matt, about Zilich going back to the O'Reilly Series, the Grand National Series, as we like to call it, of course. Just want to clarify for those people not in the know of what we call it. And winning that race at Bristol, and a lot of talk this week about Connor was, boy, hopefully that is a boost of confidence to just get back into a car that he knows how to drive and knows he can win in, and he did. Hopefully that's a boost in confidence, but that didn't really relate to Sunday. Didn't have a great run Sunday again. He's not running well here to start this race, although it's very early. But the rookie season for Connor Zilich, Matt, has been, I mean, honestly, it's been quite terrible.
Yeah, it's a bit of a culture shock, I suppose, for young Connor. Of course, turned up, not last year, it was end of the year before, wasn't it, in the Grand National Series, and was winning very, very convincingly, very quickly. And then went on to have such a dominant year without winning the championship. Thank you, point system last season. But yeah, it's just been a struggle so far this season, and now with the new, without the win and you're in that we've lost this year in the Cup Series, he's not going to get a chance to do a Shane Van Gisbergen and win at San Diego, Sonoma, or Watkins Glen in the summer stretch when we go back to the road courses where he will be a factor, perhaps. So. Yeah, it's been a struggle, but this is his first year at this level, and his second full year in the NASCAR system. So just need to give him some time. I can't remember if I ended up putting him in my 16 at the end when we did our preview show at the beginning of the season or not. If I did, I think I'm regretting it.
And no one knows anyway, because that video has been lost to time. So
indeed,
so no one can say that you were wrong.
No.
Don't you love when that
happens?
I
definitely said he wasn't going to make it. There you go. Just clarify.
Carson Hocevar lost fourth to Kyle Larson. Now said they might be losing fifth.
Yeah, Tai Gibbs to the inside off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Gibbs with a good surge going into turn number 3, and he's got the spot. Tai Gibbs into the top 5 in car 54 as he gets by Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, some pep in his Zep, perhaps, for Tai Gibbs today, again, after that win last week. And he's up in a 5th position in front of Hocevar. Hamlin, Reddick, Briscoe, Larson, Gibbs, the top 5. Hocevar, Blaney, Wallace, Busher, and Priest, the top 10, as you can see on your screen.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't know. There's really no need for me to give full field rundowns. That's right, because we got it on our screen. There you see it. Meanwhile, further back, Daniel Suarez using the high line to make a pass on Brad Keselowski. That is for the 16th position. So Suarez in 16th and Keselowski back in 17th. Again, different looks this week. Suarez black, green, and white. Blue and gold for Keselowski. Blue and orange for Keselowski. I don't know what you would call that other color.
Suarez has been backsliding. He's dropped 8 positions from the start. Started 8th, now runs in 16th. Might be in jeopardy of losing that spot. The battle goes to 2.
Keselowski follows Suarez at his tire tracks off turn 2 of the high side of the racetrack. Now they go down the back straightaway. It is Suarez ahead of Keselowski by about a car length or so. Now Keselowski tried to close in just a little bit. Now he'll go about a scotch lower, but not low enough. Suarez will keep the spot.
Matt, speaking of things that we have on our screen, as I look to my right, and as everyone can see on our screen, you can see lap times for drivers on the last completed lap, and you can also see their best lap time. I bring that up to say our race leader Denny Hamlin's last lap, Matt, 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap on lap 3. 2 seconds of drop-off across 30 laps. What do we think?
Yeah, heading towards the midpoint of the first stage here, of course, which will be coming up shortly on this 80-lap first run. And Denny's just about to put a lap on John Hunter Nemechek at the back of the field. And into the lap traffic he goes pretty full on now. He's got a couple of seconds on Reddick and a lot more on Larson, who's got around Briscoe for 3rd place while we were looking elsewhere. So, yeah, tyres falling off. It's perhaps going to be falling into that point very soon where crew chiefs are going to decide whether to split the stage in half here on tyres. Fuel's not going to be an issue, but on tyres and fall off, it might be a 40 and 40 here for this first stage of the day.
And more than likely, you're going to get around 80 green flag laps in Stage 2. Stage 2 length is 85 laps, so more than likely we'll go green with about 77, 78 laps to go in that stage. So you'll probably see crew chiefs, as Matt just said, split each of these first two stages. Where that becomes a bit muddied, Matt, is that final stage, which is scheduled for 102 laps. You probably go green with about 95 to go. How the crew chiefs play that final stage will be very interesting, of course. And obviously, we don't know, as you said, on the whiteboard, are we going to get long green runs, or are we going to get a rash of yellow? Because honestly, the next-gen races here at Kansas have seen both in the same race. We will see long green flag runs, and then we'll see cautions bunched up with each other.
And now we're seeing pit stops. Ryan Preece is in. He was, where was he? He was the back end of the top 10, wasn't he? Was Ryan, so he's the first man from the top end of town to make a stop. You say we're going to get 80 odd laps of green flagged in stage 2. That projected, because we don't know when the cautions, of course, are going to come and how many of them we'll get, and perhaps we will fall into the feverish items. We've got through the initial start, but the restarts, as we saw at the very beginning of this race, can be chaotic, and we'll have to wait and see how that plans out. But it's starting to get busy downstairs on pit lane.
William Byron on pit road, Alex Bowman on this lap, Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, all on pit road. Byron leaves after 4 tires and fuel service to his machine. Looks like that perhaps is Chris Buescher coming off onto pit road. Yes, it is. In that very green gold peak real brewed T Ford. Right side tire's already done there. They jack up the left side. Chris Buescher's RFK team with a clean pit stop. Off he goes. Buescher, the runner-up by 1/1000th of a second in this race just 2 years ago to Kyle Larson. So a bunch of drivers kind of right on the fringe or outside of the top 10 on pit road, but now here's a driver that was well inside the top 10 coming to pit road. Tai Gibbs, blue and yellow colors on the Zepp number 54, the newest winner in NASCAR Cup Series action. Matt, here he comes to the turn 1 into pit road.
He will pull in to service the race-winning crew from last weekend, as you say. Right-hand side tyres done. A little bit further down pit lane, Brad Keselowski also in the Trimble 6. They are done. A little bit slow on the left-hand rear, perhaps, to get him down and away, but he is clear, as is Gibbs from further up pit lane. He's on his way out.
Shane Van Gisbergen on pit road. Alex Bowman, now Kyle Larson. I love when we follow a car come all the way down to pit road, then he gets into his box, and we flip to another pit stop. That's just great. Here's Larson swinging into his box. He stops pretty much just on his mark. Right side tire's already on. They'll flash around to the left side of this blue and white number 5. Only 1 can of Sunoco Racing fuel going in here and not waiting on any fuel at all. Larson is away. On the racetrack, Denny Hamlin, the leader, stays on the track and is about to put a lap on Ross Chastain. Tyler Reddick from the pole is in. That is not a black and white car. That is a very deep brown and white livery for Supply House, who jumps on to the 45 cars, hood and quarter panels this weekend. Matt, got the number 1 pit stall.
And he comes right to the scene of the 45 number in front of him. Right-hand side tyres done. 1 can of fuel for them as well in the left rear corner of the Camry. Left side's done, and he smokes away. Reddick clear of pit lane, and here's the leader.
Ross Chastain also follows Denny Hamlin in. Chastain, just a terrible start to this race. Had a terrible Saturday again for Trackhouse. Christopher Bell is in. Darrell Wallace Jr., Ryan Blaney. How about Denny Hamlin's pit stop? He comes to a stop a bit deep in his box. Right side tires going on the National Debt Relief Toyota. They swing to the left side, jack it up cleanly. Left side tires are on. Hamlin is away, trying to keep an eye on the Ryan Blaney pit stop again. And there's trouble on pit road. Blaney hit A.J. Allmendinger. A.J. Allmendinger has been turned around on pit road. He's not in his box. He's crossing over into Ty Dillon's pit box. Allmendinger tries to get it reversed, and he still hasn't gotten it into his pit box. He's got to have all 4 tires in that box before it can be a legal stop, and he is really sputtering and struggling here. Will they throw a caution for that car sideways on pit road and trying to get pointed back the right direction? Carson Hocevar currently leads on the racetrack from Joey Logano and Cole Custer. Hocevar is going to come to pit road this time round. And Matt, just as I said, I was trying to keep an eye on the Ryan Blaney stop is when he pulled out and tagged Allmendinger.
Yeah, just as he was leaving, AJ was swinging across the nose of the 12 and unfortunately got turned around. Luckily, the 2 car pit stalls are next to each other this week, so they had some extra hands on deck to try and get him clear. We're not entirely sure because we can't see it if he's managed to get that self sorted, but it will ruin the beginning of his race.
Chris Rice's master plan, Matthew.
Oh my God. Sure.
No unsafe release penalties, of course, in the Cup Series, so Blaney will be A-OK as long as he's got no damage.
And we are now halfway through this first stage. We'll try to get an update on Allmendinger if possible. And we'll try to get an update on Ryan Blaney's car. How much damage does the 12 car have? As pit stops have cycled out just about, waiting on Cole Custer to hit pit road along with Cody Ware, but those are the only two that have not yet stopped. Here we are.
Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney's got an opening out in front of his pit box for the gap in the pit wall to get in behind and use that to good effect, but just misjudged it a little bit with AJ coming across him. Doesn't look like there's too much damage. A little bit of a wrinkle in the front of the 12. Allmendinger is back on the racetrack, but he is now stone motherless last and 2 laps down.
Has Ryan said anything there, Seth?
I would say Blaney told the team, looked at pictures, and he doesn't appear to have any major damage. He also says that his steering is okay. Here's my thing with Blaney. Even when he's done with a pit stop, he still has the pictures on pit road.
It's unbelievable. Pit road is a nightmare right now for that driver and team.
He's probably wondering if we could build a car that doesn't allow for pit stops.
Yes. Well, get it. NASCAR.
Yeah, well, if everyone had their, some people had their way next week at Talladega, we'd be only doing a 20-lap race. And you wouldn't need to come to pit road.
That's right, yes. Oh, boy. If you are just twisting us in, if you're just finding us here on the channel and you're with us next week, get ready for a bunch of just moaning and complaining from everyone. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what Americans do best. Complain about complainers. That's what I'm going to do.
We're just going to call the race as we see it.
Yeah, yes. Let's recycle the running order, even though you can see it on your screen. We don't care. You can't get the radio people out of us. Denny Hamlin has cycled back to the lead of this race. Kyle Larson, however, has jumped to second, passing Tyler Reddick. The gap at the front between Hamlin and Larson is 1.6 seconds. Tyler Reddick third, Tai Gibbs fourth. Chris Buescher, who was among the first ones to hit pit road, he's really jumped up the order to fifth. Darrell Wallace Jr. is sixth. Chase Briscoe seventh. William Byron, Ryan Preece, and Christopher Bell round out the top 10. Carson Hocevar, who had a really good start to this race map, had lost a couple of positions on the racetrack before the pit stops, but then he's lost a lot during the cycle of stops. Remember, he was among the latest to stay out, and he's dropped from inside the top 10 to 18th.
Yeah, and he's a long way down in terms of time to the leader as well. So we'll see Carson perhaps cutting his way through as we get closer towards the end of the stage with a bit more fresher tyre. Have to see how the Dente goes on this second stint as he's now fallen back through the field. So that's a bit of a shame for him. Otherwise, yeah, Buescher, the big winner in that cycle, up to fifth.
For those of you listening, depending on how you're listening, we are both on Ultimate Sports Media Network and JB Motorsports. Glad to have you all with us on JBM. Plenty of comments. Let's see, Nathan Troxel says he misjudged either Blaney or Allmendinger on that. Let's see. Big Red says, I want to thank you guys for always being here every Sunday. Yes, indeed. JBM is here every Sunday, every Saturday, every race day, known to man. No doubt about that.
And JB currently piloting himself. Well, he's not piloting because he's on the train. On the way back from touring cars at Donington today, he'll be on JBM and USM later for the Long Beach Grand Prix, which follows this race here at Kansas Speedway.
Green flag just north of 6 p.m. Eastern time for IndyCar's first crown jewel of the year. And I think we also have a commenter in the JBM chat, Seth, that kind of jumped onto what you were talking about. I hate Fox anymore. I will not subscribe to them. Weren't loving when we try to call the race the way we call it, we don't love, changing camera shots every 2.7 seconds, do we, Seth?
No. Yeah, it's like Ty Sedney's running there. Let's see if I can. It's like Ty Sedney's running this switch. Let's see if I can change a camera faster than I went 94 feet against Missouri 31 years ago. Boop.
Yes, indeed.
Or Donovan Dent, because if you want to use a more recent example, because he did virtually the same thing.
No, he did. Yes,
game against Illinois.
He did indeed. Kyle Larson, as we mentioned, jumping to second ahead of Tyler Reddick in the cycle of pit stops, but he is now more than 2 seconds adrift of race leader Denny Hamlin. We work lap 50 of 80 here in stage 1 of the AdventHealth 400 at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City. Ryan Blaney running back in the 12th position, and magically he appears on our screen. I was going to just mention, we heard that Seth said that everything seems to be okay with that right front, and Matt, as we get a look at it, it doesn't look to be any damage, which is quite incredible.
Yeah, a little bit of a change to the front of the livery makes the car look like it's got some damage on the right front there for the 12, but it's a bit of a scuff, but otherwise, Seth looks all pretty much square.
Yeah, it's all systems go for Ryan Blaney. Meanwhile, 3 wide between Riley Herbst, Corey Heim, and Carson Hocevar. Trying to battle. Oh, Heim slides up into Herbst, and he's going to get Herbst a little bit sideways and into the wall. He keeps it pointed in the right direction, though.
Same exact thing happened there, Matt, which happened on our virtual lap when I got up and lost the front nose. See what I did there? Lost the front nose and drifted up into Brad Keselowski. That's what just happened to Heim, drifting up into Herbst. It was just in 3 and 4.
It was a 5-second shot there of the future of the sport. Heim, Herbst, and Hocevar all battling out together. But this time it's a little bit further down the field, but they all managed to keep it straight. Good save from Herbst coming sideways through turn 3.
Oh, boy. Does Fox know what they're doing? See?
Denny Hamlin to the inside of Kyle Busch, trying to put him a lap down.
And
Kyle said he was going to make his life hell on the racetrack. Here we go.
Here they are.
Well talk or action, Kay.
Flashing across the line and back to 1. Busch did say yesterday in that comment with Jeff Gluck, thank you, that he said that he could make Denny's life hell. And, of course, most of the comments were, well, the only way you could do that is while he's lapping you. Well, guess what? Denny Hamlin is lapping Kyle Busch here. And in turn 3, Matt, no issue for Denny getting around the 8 car this time around.
Yeah, indeed so. And Kyle will sit in behind for the moment. So he is 26th on the rundown. And we always keep a check when we talk about Kyle Busch where his teammate is. Austin Dillon, by the way, now is 21st. So not outrunning his teammate, and now a lap down to the man that said he needs to pull his socks up, and that's Denny Hamlin in the lead.
See, here's how I feel about this situation, Seth. Denny went on his podcast, and I suppose was asked. Matt, you listened to Actions Detrimental, so I'm assuming this wasn't just brought up by Denny. It was asked to him. So he responded the way he feels, and let's be honest, everyone feels the same way about Kyle Busch. Everyone knows that he hasn't forgotten how to drive and that he's still a fierce competitor. He's just not in a good race car at a good racing organization right now. That's really what Denny said. I was surprised to get the reaction that we did from Kyle about it, Seth, but I mean, that's what happened.
I mean, I am and I'm not too. I just think it's about 2-3 years worth of frustration out in that comment. I mean, well, you said it best, he went from picking fights and getting in scuffles with battling with, Jimmy Johnson and, Jeff Gordon and his brother he had a hard battle with, and he was upset with Dale Earnhardt Jr., name your solid to good driver. Now he's getting in scraps with Ricky Stenhouse and Riley Herbst.
Yeah.
It's like Draymond Green picking fights with something called Haywood Highsmith the other night.
Yeah. Yes, very good. And our NBA playoff coverage continues tonight on the channel with Portland and San Antonio.
A Draymondless playoffs. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Please retire. Please redo the Artemis launch, tie his butt to the rocket, and put him on Mars.
Don't get JT started about Artemis. Matt, again, Denny did not say anything, as the kids would say, that was out of pocket. He gave an honest opinion.
Did I hear an Artemis mention?
Yeah, someone called Artemis. Denny said what everyone feels and what everyone else is thinking. Like I said, I was just a bit surprised that Kyle went out of his way to make the comment that he did in reaction.
Yeah, I mean, when he moved to RCR that first season, and the sort of first half of it, he was great. Won 3 races in that first season. We all thought, the old Kyle Busch is back. But now the playing field is leveled and everyone's got on top of this car. Actually, it's become a bit more of a struggle. So what will he do next season is the sort of question. Will he stay? Will he hang it up? Will he move to another team? All of that will come out in the summer washout, I guess, and we'll see how Kyle goes. But they're going to need something to turn them around, and it's not just him, because Austin Dillon isn't pulling up trees either, and hasn't done for the last 6 or 7 years outside of 2 races at Richmond.
I'll give it to my guy Seth Eves, by the way. He gave the best answer that I've heard so far on the Kyle Busch of it all, as we get a replay of him coming to pit road a moment ago, Busch, and my goodness, just chunks of, I'm assuming that's chunks of rubber coming out of the car. Yeah. But Seth, you gave the best answer I've heard anyone give about the Kyle Busch situation, is maybe next year he'll just turn up at Hendrick Motorsports again in the 48 car.
Yeah, full circle. Why not?
Oh, you want to talk about storylines?
Why not? I mean,
we're all about storylines around here. I'd love that.
Yeah. Again, we don't root for drivers. We just root for storylines.
That's right. Yes. Don't root for anyone around here. We say. Promise. Kinda.
No biases here.
That's right. Under 20 laps to go in stage 1. If you're wondering why we're doing this podcast, it's because Fox, the only battles Fox wants to give us is for 23rd.
We are live in Kansas City, Kansas, which is not the capital of Kansas. That's Topeka.
Hamlin by 2.5 seconds on Larson, then more Toyotas in Reddick and Gibbs, 3rd and 4th. Just saw William Byron and Christopher Bell on screen a moment ago. They looked like a battle for 8th was squaring up, Matt, but Fox didn't want to show us any more of it. But let's talk about William Byron. You did for about 30 seconds earlier on Ones to Watch. Could Bristol have been any... Yeah, thank you, Fox. Could Bristol have been any worse for that 24 team, Matt?
Qualified poorly and just never had the speed, and then we questioned the strategy in the early phase of the race, and when they went a lap down and then just never recovered, and in the low 30s at the end of the afternoon was just a non-factor for a guy that has been generally brilliant throughout the start part of this year. So a big points hit for Byron, although you would say unless the wheels completely come off the wagon, he's going to be fairly safe inside the top 16 by the time we get to the end of August. But needs a rebounce this week, and really it was only Kyle Larson that held up any end of the bargain for HMS last week.
He was just passed by his teammate Chase Elliott, was Byron. That's for the 9th position. You know, they had to change to the nose of the Camaro in this offseason. And Seth, we were talking earlier in the week, historically speaking, outside of 1995, really, when Chevrolet went from the Lumina to the Monte Carlo, historically speaking, anytime a Chevrolet gets redone, whether it's just an alteration to the body or if it's a total overhaul, Chevrolet teams struggle the first year or so after that change. And so far this year, they are on the struggle bus right now.
They are. There is no question about it. They absolutely are on the old struggle bus. Update, Kyle Busch says he thinks he, quote, doesn't know if he's going to make it with a tire issue.
Mm.
So, by the way, Hocevar had that bad pit stop. He fell back to 17th when it cycled out. He just passed Ryan Blaney for 11th. I think there's a spicy fast chili underneath the hood of that car.
Well, and part of the reason why he dropped back so much too, Matt, was because they kept him out so much longer than everyone else. So now he's reaping the rewards. He's already went through the pain of staying out longer. Now he's reaping those rewards a bit.
Yeah, 5 or 6 laps fresher tyres on that car. So he'll be, as I mentioned earlier on, coming back through the field. Talking of which, just under the feet of the grandstand here, Brad Keselowski passing the car he used to drive, Austin Cindric, in the 2.
So Keselowski will move there, and now he battles AJ Allmendinger, who's already had an adventure here today. NASCAR Chasm with a comment. It was a video of Blaney hitting Allmendinger and says, give them the benefit of the doubt here. Blaney's just now getting used to leaving the pit stall that soon.
Very good. By the way, just speaking of that 1995 season when Chevrolet switched from the Lumina to the Monte Carlo, Chevrolet won the first 7 races of the season that year. Sterling Marlin won the Daytona 500. Jeff Gordon won at Rockingham. Terry Labonte won at Richmond. Gordon again at Atlanta. Marlin again at Darlington. Gordon again at Bristol. And Dale Earnhardt won at North Wilkesboro. The first non-Chevrolet to win that season was Rusty Wallace at Martinsville in his Ford. Then the Ford of Martin won at Talladega. See, you come to this channel to get current racing and racing history, which Matt will tell us more about in 11 laps. Three-way battle heading to Seth.
Yeah, Christopher Bell says enough of your racing, of your nostalgia right now. He goes by Briscoe, and he's going to try to go by Bubba Wallace to grab the 6th spot. Can you stay on one God-blessed battle? We do not care about, or Mike Collett, we do not care about Denny Hamlin lapping washed Joey Logano.
Oh, dear me. It is incredible what we're seeing with these camera cuts. Absolutely amazing. And now they're going to give us a replay of what they were just showing us, Matt, when they could have just showed us.
Yeah, Christopher Bell got the big run off of 2 and ducked low. Wallace actually got the wall. Talked about that, didn't we, in our virtual lap, about that wall coming up and gets you off turn 2. And Wallace, the first person to find it this afternoon with the right rear of that Camry in an all Camry scrap. Joey Logano hanging on here, though, in front of Denny Hamlin, trying in vain, perhaps, because there's still 9 laps to go to stay on the lead lap.
See if he can stay.
I called him watch. He's going to mess around on strategy and win this race now, isn't he?
He is. Trying his best to stay on the lead lap here before the stage ends, so he can either at least stay on the lead lap or get the free pass. Matt, let's pick up Briscoe and Wallace while we can.
They're still squabbling, and they're about to be pounced upon by Chase Elliott. This is memories of the end of the race from last year, as Elliott tried to pass all the Camrys. He's got past Wallace on the entry to turn number 1, Seth, and he's going to try and do the same to Briscoe off 2.
Yeah, he's got good run on that inside, and now he's going to make a move on Chase Briscoe to grab that 7th position. Elliott to the inside of the approach to turn 3, and he'll make the pass. Chase Elliott's stick, by the way, we were talking about promotions earlier. Yes, JT, we have the Alien on the channel tonight in his first playoff game.
We do indeed. Let's continue to follow Hamlin now, Seth, to see if he can put away Logano.
Joey Logano's racing him very tough, I'll tell you that right now. Hamlin still has north of a 3-second lead. Looks like Hamlin's going to finally go inside and try and lap him. Or is he? Whoa.
Didn't quite clear him off of 4. Logano hanging tough on the outside. And actually be ahead as they cross the line. With that bit more momentum on the higher line, Hamlin will keep it stuck in on the inside, a little bit in front of this battle, 3 wide. McDowell, Van Gisbergen in the middle, and an SVG. Hamlin is in front of Logano, but not for long.
Yeah, he slipped up a little bit in 2, did Hamlin. So Logano stays with him, and Todd Gilliland now has a run. Denny Hamlin having quite the adventure with lap traffic. He's finally going to put Logano a lap down. Meanwhile, behind him, Briscoe and Elliott continue their battle for 7th on the back straightaway. Elliott to the inside. He'll look to make the move at the approach to turn 3, and he's going to get the spot. 7th to Chase Elliott, but Briscoe fights back on the outside.
2 chases always seem to be together, and they nearly came together off of turn 4. Elliott slides up across the nose of Briscoe and secures that 7th position. That's worth an extra point in the championship, of course, as stage points are set to be awarded in about 5 laps' time. As we mentioned, Hamlin did complete the pass on Logano. He has also completed the pass, or is trying to, on Shane Van Gisbergen to put the Red Bull number 97 car a lap down. Those guys were hoping that Elliott could hold Hamlin back, but Seth, it hasn't happened.
No, it is not. And Hamlin now going to the inside of Michael McDowell, gets a little bump in the back from Shane Van Gisbergen. Hamlin now to the inside of McDowell. Ricky Stenhouse also there. That won't be chaotic or anything. Hamlin dives to the inside, and Larson's cut the lead to about 2 seconds.
Yeah, Larson making hay here while Hamlin's suffering through this little pack of traffic. And he'll try and get up the inside of McDowell at turn 1. Will Hamlin on the inside, and does, if he can clear him off the corner. Van Gisbergen's been passed by Todd Gilliland. McDowell hanging on the outside, Seth.
Yeah, he is, and Hamlin now drops back a little bit into the clutches of Todd Gilliland. Hamlin now will go to the inside of turn number 3 and now goes to the outside to try and put a lap on Michael McDowell.
All these guys trying desperately to stay ahead of Hamlin so they don't fall a lap down and have to rely on the free pass. But Hamlin around the outside will swoop his way around McDowell. Now he's got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ahead. Todd Gilliland looks racy in all of this too to try to get back on the tail end of the lead lap.
Indeed he does, as Gilliland is staying very racy. Now Hamlin to the inside of the Ricky Stenhouse machine. And here goes Stenhouse to the top side of the racetrack. And Hamlin is going to clear Stenhouse.
So that moves Denny clear of him, and Todd Gilliland is latched on the back of this 11. Every time Hamlin passes someone to put him a lap down, Todd Gilliland says, yeah, I'll take a free pass. I'll stay behind the leader. That's fine. You guys do what you're doing. I'll just pass you and latch onto the back of the fastest car in town.
Indeed. So that's not a bad strategy, let's be honest. As Hamlin now goes to the inside at turn number 3, bottom of the racetrack, and has just put, again, Todd Gilliland a lap down, but he is positioned for the free pass. If you can hang on there, Todd.
Gilliland had a great race last weekend, started 36th, ended up finishing in the top 10. Hamlin is across the line. He has started the last lap of stage 1. His lead on Kyle Larson is a comfortable 3 seconds.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin is cruising here as we move on to the end of this stage. And Denny Hamlin, the dominant car in stage number 1. He goes to the inside in 3 and 4. Looks like he'll have the stage win off turn 4.
9 top 2 finishes at this racetrack in the past, and Denny Hamlin gets the stage 1 victory. Todd Gilliland actually snuck past him there as they came to the checkered flag of the end of the stage anyway. So Gilliland will keep himself on the lead lap. Hamlin the stage winner. Larson, Reddick, Gibbs, Bell, the top 5. 4 of those guys aboard Toyota Camrys.
It's a big pass there that Gilliland made, and perhaps Hamlin gave him that spot as a reward, as a thank you to playing nice with him. Not a lot of those lap cars did play overly nice with him there down the stretch, but Gilliland didn't give him any problems, so Hamlin may have just given him the wave by as a thank you. So Gilliland will not have to use the free pass. That's big, because when you use the free pass, you have to then start the next restart at the tail end of the field rather than with the rest of the lead lap cars. So Gilliland finishes at stage 21st. That means Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 22nd will get the free pass and be back on the lead lap. That's a good chunk of the field, though, Matt, that Hamlin did put a lap down in the first stage.
Yeah, we're going to restart with, it'll be 21 cars on the lead lap, unless there's anybody that takes a wave around, which I can't imagine that there will be. So, sort of half the field-ish. But, of course, the best cars are in the top half.
So caution comes out now for the end of Stage 1 of the NASCAR Cup Series AdventHealth 400 from the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. Glad to have you with us today on Ultimate Sports Media and on JBM. Around the world, we bring you this 9th race of the NASCAR Cup Series season. We'll do the same later today with the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach for the NTT Indy cars. Again, that green flag just north of 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's about 3 hours from right now. Many people, wink wink, very happy that that first stage went green all the way through. Thank you very much. And now that we are at the end of the stage, I'll turn you over to Matt White. Matt, April the 19th. And as we always do, if you're new to the channel or new to us, at the end of Stage 1, it's on this day in racing history and birthdays with our guy, Matty Dubs. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you. When you mentioned that the race record was whatever it was, I was going to try and hope that you mentioned that you would like to see that broken today. Yes, April the 19th. And as we always do at the end of Stage 1, we'll go through on this day in racing history, start with some birthdays. One of them will be in the booth for Fox in Long Beach. Townsend Bell birthday today. Happy birthday to T. Bell. He'll be celebrating that by calling the IndyCar race on Fox later on this afternoon. You'll never know what Indy means. Al Unser Jr.'s birthday today as well. Pretty much concludes the birthday list. Actually short on birthdays for the well-known names today. So we'll skip to the races that happened on the 19th of April. Last year, the NASCAR circus was in North Carolina at Rockingham on its return to National Series racing. with the North Carolina Education Lottery 250 in the Xfinity Series won by Sammy Smith. Brent Cruz won in the morning in the ARCA East race, the Rockingham ARCA 125. The last Cup race to happen on this day was back in 2015 at Bristol. A win for Matt Kenseth in the Food City 500 in support of our good friend Steve Burns. Earlier on that day, Lewis Hamilton won the Bahrain Grand Prix, the Jewel in the Desert, and also that was also a Long Beach Grand Prix Sunday. Scott Dixon winning on that day in 2015. Ed Jones won the Indy Lights race earlier on in the day. Back in 2010, I'm guessing, looking at this list, that the Nationwide Series race was delayed because Kyle Busch won it, and also on the same day, Denny Hamlin won a Cup race at Texas Motor Speedway. Not sure if that is right, but that's what we're going with the information that's in front of me. As I say, that's what's on the card. In 2009, it was a busy weekend. The Chinese Grand Prix was won by Sebastian Vettel, Red Bull's first Grand Prix victory. Look whatever happened to those guys, eh? J.R. Hildebrand won the Indy Lights race at Long Beach on that day. Dario Franchitti won the Long Beach Grand Prix. And Jamie Whincup won in Hamilton, New Zealand in Supercars, their second race of the weekend in 2009. 2008 at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the Grand Am Series was there, and it was won, the Mexico 250 was won by Mark Goosens and Jim Matthews. Lucas Luhr and Marco Werner winning on the same afternoon at Long Beach in the ALMS. Here's the one I mentioned earlier on in the day, which I've now lost in the... Here we go. 2008 also, at Long Beach, the Toyota Celebrity Race was won by pit lane reporter Jamie Little.
Yes, they talked about that this week with Harvick and Buxton on Speed. She was great in that race.
Yeah, she was the winner. I'm sad they don't do that anymore. Austin Dillon won on the same day in the Camping World Truck Series at Greenville Pickens Speedway in the Camping World East Series, sorry.
Oh my God, do not get me started on what's going to that place. Jeez, God almighty.
Pit stop's about to happen. We'll catch up with them in a minute once I've finished. Others, I think, notables on this list, Ron Holiday winning the very first... Is it 98 was the first Truck Series season?
No,
is that correct?
95.
95. Well, he won in 98 at Phoenix, which was on this day in 1998. No other Grand Prix. Yes, Jackie Stewart won a Grand Prix at Jarama in Spain in 1970 on this day. And Fireball Roberts won the Southern States Fairgrounds Grand National Race of Champions in 1957.
Race off pit road won by Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, the first five off pit road, everyone taking 4 tires. Very good, Matt. Thank you for that. As our first set of caution flag pit stops complete for the day.
Already fast forwarded to next Monday. The birthday list is strong next week. Just going to throw that out there now.
Very good.
The page ready we go for next Sunday.
And I will not be here for it, more than likely.
So next week we go to Talladega for, yes, as we said, the Complaining 500. Can't wait for it. Should be tons of fun.
The bitching, moaning, and whining 500.
And also, this is the time where I would play a score of music, but I need to get that cleared before I do that on this channel. But anyway, without the music, I will tell you there are just 35 days remaining until the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Sing it like I did last week.
Yes, just whistle the tune. Yes, we are very excited. Our first Indianapolis 500 on our new channel, on our new platform. We cannot wait for it. 35 days away. I can barely stand it. Can't wait.
From one crown jewel to another then, Indy 500 that far away, and as we've mentioned, the Long Beach Grand Prix coming up on both of these channels. This broadcast is currently going out on once we've finished here at Kansas.
That means we're only 27 days away from the opening day of time trials on that Saturday, which is one of my most favorite days of the racing year, the Saturday and Sunday of time trials at Indianapolis.
Matthew, I can feel your Indianapolis 500 energy through the screen
Thank you. That's
and
thank you.
from across the pond.
Feel it both ways. Very good. Cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait. We talk about no biases here, except for that.
We are pro Indianapolis.
Yes, we are. It's a wonderful city. Wonderful city, wonderful event, wonderful racetrack, greatest race course in the world. And, yeah, can't wait to get there next month for, of course, the Grand Prix, which will begin the month of May. And, yeah, time trials the next weekend, then the 500-mile race, the 110th renewal. But again, before that, have to see how things go in Long Beach today with Felix Rosenquist on pole for Meyer Shank Racing. Of course, Meyer Shank has not won since the Indianapolis 500 of 2021, which was the greatest day in the history of sport and the history of American civilization and Brazilian civilization when Elio Castroneves...
Let's not go that far.
when Elio Castroneves won his 4th Indianapolis 500. Ryan Blaney back on pit road here under this caution. Looks like they are just tending to that right front quadrant of the race car from the contact on pit road with A.J. Allmendinger. Now that the car is stopped and we got a closer look at it, some cosmetic damage, maybe a bit of wrinkled sheet metal, and maybe some effects to the splitter of the race car, but everything, as we reported, did feel fine inside the race car and at the steering wheel for Ryan. Of course, the change to the pit crew this weekend, Graham Stoddard comes over as the jackman. Graham was with the Noah Gragson team at Front Row Motorsports, so he goes from one Ford team to another as he gets to the Team Penske outfit and becomes the jackman for the Ryan Blaney team. Again, 88 positions lost on pit road so far on the season, an average of 11 per race. And, I mean, those are large numbers, Matt, but a lot of people asking, well, put that for us easy to think about, averaging 11 lost positions per race. How does that compare to everyone else? Well, that's on average... That's 4 positions lost on pit road more than the rest of the field.
Yeah, it just doesn't make for good reading at all, does it, from those guys? So, start of changes. Maybe there's going to be some more to come over the next little while. So, we'll have to wait and see. Talking of things that are losing, and there's a Goodyear tyre with not much rubber left on it on the screen, but that's not what I was going to talk about. That was our Tyler Reddick's 45 car. We're about to go green for stage 2 on lap 9 of the stage, which is an utter ridiculousness.
Yes, it is.
That we're going to lose all of that racing time. Fox went to commercial at the end of the first stage. They came back for pit stops. They went to commercial again. And we still haven't gone back to racing, but we are about to because the cars are in turn 3.
Yes, it's been a topic of conversation a lot this season about how many laps we run off during the stage cautions. And it is really incredible to think about. We made mention second race. We made mention of it second race of the year at Atlanta. In 2005 at Atlanta, we had a multi-car crash on lap 1 of that race. There was no red flag, and they took the green to restart at the end of the 5th lap. Multi-car crash on lap 1, and we only lost 5 laps. It seems like every caution these days we lose 8 to 10. Here comes the field of the green flag. Stage 2 gets underway. Denny Hamlin, the control car, choosing the inside to restart on. He's got Kyle Larson for company to his outside as we make the scramble to turn 1. 3 wide further back as the field fans out.
Field does fan out. 3, almost 4 wide of the restart. Hamlin has the lead. Larson now goes down to the inside. He wants a piece of the lead, and he's got it. Kyle Larson by a nose on the approach to turn 3. Hamlin, though, has the preferred line. Larson slides up. In front of Hamlin, Larson leads.
A Camry not at the lead at the moment. A Chevrolet take the front, and here comes Chase Elliott to try and make it a 1-2. For Hendrick, he goes flying past Hamlin, who had to get out of the throttle coming out of 4, and he's going to lose another spot because the 45 of Tyler Reddick is here as well.
So it's Reddick and Hamlin side by side for the number 3 position. Hamlin has the position. Reddick now will dive down to the inside. It's Hendrick, then Gibbs, then 23-11, then Gibbs again with Briscoe, who's worked his way to 5th.
Kyle Larson has won the spring race at Kansas each of the last 2 years. He's across the line in front with Chase Elliott now second. Hendrick Motorsport woes for a lot of this season and especially last week, but right now they're first and second.
Indeed, they are. Now it's that Hamlin-Reddick battle continues to rage at 3rd place, and Reddick makes the pass. So Tyler Reddick moves to 3rd. Now Hamlin could be losing 4th to Chase Briscoe. Leaves the inside open for that black and orange number 19 car.
My turn to get the handoff wrong this time as they come out of turn number 4. So Reddick up to 3rd ahead of Hamlin. Then it is Briscoe and Bell, and then Gibbs. So it's all Camrys behind these 2 Chevrolets at the front. And here is Bell trying to get past Briscoe for P5.
Briscoe with a good run off at turn 2. Meanwhile, further back, for some reason, we look at Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, and Todd Gilliland as Gilliland flies by both Dillon and Cindric. Meanwhile, Larson with a steady 3-car length lead over Chase Elliott.
Yeah, a lot of traffic middle of the pack as everyone tries to get it ironed out and sorted out on this restart. That first stage, those first 80 laps went caution-free, so the best time to make up positions is when they're all bunched up like this. Ryan Preece will try it. He'll dive bomb to the bottom of turn 1 underneath Carson Hocevar. Noah Gregson's there too.
Good run by Hocevar off of turn 2, and now he will try Austin Dillon. Further up, 2nd place is now a battle. Elliott has it. Reddick wants it. That's the battle for the number 2 position.
Yeah, Reddick on the prowl here to try and get back into the top 2 positions, and he'll suck up to the back of the 9 as they come down the front straight away. Has a look to the inside. Chase Elliott covers that off, so Reddick will have to wind it up on the outside. Momentum off the corner.
So Heim now has the position in front of Austin Dillon as that battle for further back continues. Now back at 2nd. Reddick inside of Elliott. He gets close. But it's not quite close enough. Elliott will keep the spot.
Elliott rim riding around the top using every bit of that 20 degrees of progressive banking at the top of the racetrack. He holds Tyler Reddick off for now. Back to turn 1. Elliott once again at the very top. Reddick is about a groove lower.
Indeed he is. So Elliott now will actually leg it out by about an extra car length over Reddick as they head down the back stretch and into turn number 3. So Chase Elliott now stays up against the wall. Reddick about a scotch lower in that 45 car, running in the 3rd position.
Shot on board the 45. He was more turning right into a left-hander. There was Reddick in turn 3 than he was turning left. But again, he gets the big run coming down the front straight. Will dive to the inside of the 9. Can he get to the quarter panel? No, not quite. He still might be in position to factor a move down the back straight, Seth.
Indeed, so here he goes. Reddick now inside. Will he have the position? Yes, blows by. So move Tyler Reddick to 2nd. Elliott back to 3rd, and Denny Hamlin now 4th. Elliott looking for a crossover, not quite.
Yeah, well, Elliott's going to go all the way down to the apron, almost in the grass, to try to get back to the left elbow of Reddick. Reddick was down on the apron as well, and Reddick holds on to that 2nd position. So, good battling here at the front. Reddick has the 2nd spot ahead of Chase Elliott, who will now backslide in 3rd, and Seth, he might lose that spot too.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin has a big run on him on the approach to turn number 3. Here goes Hamlin inside of Elliott. Good move. Hamlin, whoa, that was tight.
And Denny got through. These two have had history of running into each other at racetracks before. Not quite on this occasion, but that would have had Chase Elliott out the throttle as Hamlin moves back up into the 3rd position.
Hamlin now moves to 3rd. Elliott back to P4. Then Bell 5th. Briscoe, Busher, Gibbs, Bowman, Walls, the rest of the top 10 you see on your screen. Kyle Larson has now legged it out to more than a full 2nd on Tyler Reddick at 1st.
Well, you got some Kansas royalty going on here in the at the front of this field. The top 4, Larson, Reddick, Hamlin, and Elliott, they have a combined 10 wins at this racetrack. Larson has 3, Reddick with 1, Hamlin with 4, and Elliott with 2. Christopher Bell runs back in 5th, Chase Briscoe 6th, Chris Buescher 7th, Tai Gibbs 8th, and Alex Bowman 9th. Those 5 drivers have never won at the Kansas Speedway. Darrell Wallace Jr. has, running back in the 10th position. Here come the leaders up out of turn number 4. Speaking of Alex Bowman running in the 9th position, good gracious, Matt, is that the highest up we've seen him all year?
we've barely seen him. So yes, this must be the highest we've seen. The 48 car. Whoa, Corey Heim trying to make a free wide elevator bottom to top to bottom move there in turn one, trying to get past Gilliland and Cindric, but it didn't quite happen for him. But yeah, good to see the 48 up at the front of the field. They've really got nothing to race for apart from to try and win as many races as they can at this stage of the season, because they're not going to point their way in on current trajectory to get into the chase. So Alex Bowman just out for trophies.
That's exactly right. Kyle Larson, the leader by 1 second, has run down the A.J. Allmendinger car. It's been a nightmare here for A.J. I guess he's great at this racetrack too, I suppose, as he runs last, 3 laps down. Just past
Scratch that off your bingo card 2.0.
Just wait till Mother's Day weekend at Watkins Glen. 100 laps up on the board, now 101 to be exact. Larson out in front, but that lead is shrinking as he's got the dirty air of Allmendinger really starting to affect him just a bit here. On the lead lap, just 23 cars. Eric Jones in 24th is the first car off the lead lap. Keeping an eye on Ryan Blaney after making that extra stop under caution to deal with the right front that he collided into Allmendinger with on pit road. He has not made up much ground. In fact, only 2 positions. Blaney runs in the 21st spot. Carson Hocevar comes up off of turn number 4. He's looking at the back bumper of the Trimble Ford of Brad Keselowski. This is a battle for the 12th position, motoring back into turns 1 and 2.
They are, as Hocevar continues the battle. Oh, we just barely missed making the pass. I have a question, Matthew.
Okay.
Now, they used to have, if you listen to old MRN race, they used to have the contingency awards.
Yes.
And, like the goodies heart. Well, if we should invent one in a different category, it can be any kind of category you want every week. I feel like I'm going to start doing that because you mentioned Kansas royalty, and I meant to make a smart comment about this at the start of the race. So let me ask you this question. Who's going to win the Darren Peterson No Show of the Race Award?
Jeez. Oh, my God. At this rate, Joey Logano might not be a bad bet on that one.
No.
Goodness gracious. You just think of it all. You really do. Battle ongoing for the 9th position.
JT does all the hard work, and you do all you do the magnificent commentary, and Matt's got the racing X's and O's. I got to provide something here. Dang.
Battle for the 9th
I'm not
position.
just a pretty face. Literally, I'm not a pretty face.
Is ongoing, coming to you, Seth, for 9th. Alex Bowman and throwing some punches with the black and electric blue 23.
Yes, indeed. Good move into turn 3, though. Wallace on corner entry. Oh, he washed up the track a little bit, though. That's going to leave the door open for Bowman.
Yeah, well, Wallace cut across the nose of the Ally 48 there to keep the position. So Wallace stays ahead for the moment as they head back to 1. Used all of the apron and more. We slide back slightly. This is 14th and 15th we're looking at on the pictures now. It's Austin Cindric in the 2 and Corey Heim in that fluorescent yellow 67.
Indeed, or neon, as we might would call it. Anyway, the 67 car of Heim. I'm doing the meme. You can't see me. 6'7" car running in the 15th position. But again, all Kyle Larson at the front of the pack.
Larson leading by about 0.7 of a second, now 0.6 of a second on Tyler Reddick. So Larson has led the whole way since the restart to get Stage 2 started, but he hasn't legged it out the way that Denny Hamlin did in that first stage. Again, we'll have pit stops, as you would expect, around the 40-lap mark, maybe a little bit after that, Matt, because, as you mentioned, as you so subtly mentioned, Matt, we did spend extra laps under caution there, so we might go a little bit past the 40-lap mark this stage.
Yeah, I tried to roll it out subtly, but just didn't happen. Talking of subtly, if you had the under on the first 100 laps of Fox showing Michael Jordan, you would have won. They did it on lap 97 today. Larson being closed in, though, by Tyler Reddick. Also, on Ryan Blaney watch, as we mentioned, he came back down to have that damage assessed. He is on the lead lap. He's second to last on the lead lap in 21st position after that extra pit stop that 12 team took under the yellow.
So,
all right. So go ahead.
Yeah, Blaney back there a good amount, and it just doesn't look like, of course, those Penske cars really haven't had great speed on these intermediate tracks this year. We used to come to these 1.5 miles like Kansas, like Vegas, and you think, my goodness, the Penske cars are going to be really hard to beat. But the last couple of years, and this year included, these kinds of racetracks not really in the strike zone of the Penske team, and Blaney running back in the 21st position. Austin Cindric is the highest running Penske car right now in 14th. The other two, if you will, Joey Logano and the quasi-Penske car of Josh Berry, they're both off the lead lap. Logano in 28th and Berry in the 25th position. So struggles continuing here on the intermediates for the Penske team as we have completed 30 laps here in Stage 2. If you are new to Ultimate Sports Media, if you like what you hear and you're seeing, mostly hearing, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get updated anytime we go live. Later tonight we've got, as we mentioned, just before 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the Indy cars at Long Beach, crown jewel race for the NTT IndyCar Series, the Acura Grand Prix at Long Beach. That's around a 5:30 air time. JT will be manning everything there, so he'll go live before the green flag.
Will I? That's the JB broadcast.
Oh, okay. Well, so JB has full control. Very good. See, I don't know what goes on between you two.
So it'll be a car crash of a broadcast.
He said that not us. And we'll continue.
Your words, not mine. And then later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it's more NBA playoff action. Game 1 of a Western.
It's fine. It didn't go through on the on the JBM side.
Very good. Game 1 of a Western Conference playoff series, the Portland Trail Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs at 9 p.m. Eastern
JT's
Time.
favorite basketball player.
That's right. And he made mention of that yesterday at the end of the Denver and Minnesota game, that Nikola Jokic is not like Victor Wembanyama. He is not alien-like.
Whoa!
You are putting words in my mouth, Matthew Owens.
Is that not what you said?
Find the footage, roll the tape.
Yes, of course.
I have absolutely no idea what any of you are going on about.
Well, that's fine.
Kyle asked me 5 seconds.
You were talking about something, the color of a something earlier, and I had no idea what you were talking about.
Neither. It's.
Oh yes, the money thing. Yeah.
Yes.
He was asking JT, and I was like, I hope the hell he ain't asking me.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. No idea. Later in the week as well, more NBA and Stanley Cup playoff action on the channel, and then next Sunday, NASCAR at Talladega. Kyle Larson leading this middle portion of the race, and by doing so, he has now surpassed Kevin Harvick for most laps led in the history of the Kansas Speedway. 2 laps ago, Matt, was his 950th all-time lap led at Kansas. Of course, last week we told you he became just the 9th driver ever to surpass 2,000 laps led at Bristol.
He's racking him up, isn't he? Is Kyle? I was going to say call him young Kyle, but he's not so young anymore. So yeah, finding feed again at the front of the field, and this is perhaps good for the race that there isn't another Camry out front running away like we saw with Denny Hamlin in stage 1. So I have to wait and see how that plays very quickly. Just while we were talking channel stuff, while enduring Chelsea Man United last night, which was a terrible game of football, I did happen to just flick onto the YouTube on my phone and see that on the USM channel there was 3 different streams going at once, and that filled my heart with glee that we had football, hockey, and NBA all going on at the same time.
Filled his heart with glee. And as you can see on your screen,
it's a shame I wasn't part of any of those broadcasts, but here we go.
I'll make a heart.
That's a really good Copa del Rey final, though. Real Sociedad spoiling Atletico's week. 10 of Real Sociedad players that played in that game yesterday came to their academy.
Wow. Wow, that's.
And of course, they got, and so go figure, their manager's from New Jersey.
Of course it was. Yeah, it was a fun day yesterday.
The World Cup final, New Jersey, by the way.
Yes, of course. It was a fun day on the channel yesterday. We had those 3 going on simultaneously, as you mentioned. Then later in the night, we had hockey with the Penguins and the Flyers. It was a big day. We had plenty of people subscribed. So what did we come up with, by the way, this week, Matt? The 2 of us we're on the road to the 500 Indianapolis and subscribers.
You can forget the ESPN 50 for 50.
Stop
This is
it.
the USM 500 before the 500.
Right. That's what we're aiming for. Let's go. Yes, let's get to 500 subscribers before the Indy 500. Let's do it. And as you can see, if you are in a certain group chat, as Matt talked about his heart filled with glee, I made a heart with my hands. The visuals we can pull off these days. Outside the top 10 is where we find William Byron and Carson Hocevar dueling for 11th, and Hocevar lost the right front of that car just a bit, nearly slid up into the side of Byron, but Hocevar didn't lift up out of the throttle very much because he still gets to the inside of Byron, and by the time he gets to turn 1, Hocevar has made the pass. So up into the 11th position goes Carson Hocevar, and it might be time for green flag pit stops. We thought we might go a little bit deeper than lap 40 on this run, Matt, as we were hypothesizing, but we were wrong. Tai Gibbs is in on lap 41 of the stage.
He is down and clear and away. His teammate comes in, Christopher Bell, also William Byron in as he flashed through shot, but we'll talk about the Bell pit stop. Right side tyres done. On the Reese's 20, they'll swing around and complete the stop on the left side. No waiting on fuel there again, and he's down and clear.
So Bell exits pit road. Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Riley Herbst, Austin Dillon, and Ty Dillon all in on this lap. Still awaiting a number of the leaders, including Kyle Larson, who motored his way past pit entry. Matt talked about it earlier in this race, or earlier in pre-race rather. Pit entry here is very difficult, comes up on you quick as you try to get down to pit road speed and come up off the banking. Chase Elliott's Napa number 9 down and away. Service complete there on the Alan Gustafson crew. Larson once again will pass up the entry to pit road. Eric Jones and Alex Bowman in on this lap too, as we still await guys like Larson, Reddick, and Hamlin to come to pit road. So we close in on the midway point of this race, which I will not say the words of what's going through my mind, but we are closing in on it.
Half the race gone, there's still half the race to go.
Yeah, well, of course, yes, absolutely right. We do love a good Murray Walkerism every now and again. Interesting to see some top 10 guys come in when they did, Matt, and we haven't seen a reaction yet, a counter, as it were, from Larson, Reddick, Hamlin, and Wallace.
I called Byron in the pits. It was Briscoe, so my apologies. William is still out there in 8th position. It's surprised that we've had that round of stops, let's say. Now we're into the interlull of between pit stop phases, and we'll have some more people coming in over the next couple of laps, you can be sure. And it looks like we might be getting the leaders this time. No, Reddick. Is Reddick coming in? Yes, Reddick is in, as is Larson, as is Hamlin.
Wow. Top 3 will all come in together. Remember, Tyler Reddick is all the way at the turn 1 into pit road. He won the pole, so he's got the number 1 pit stall down there. Larson will be the first of these 3 to get to his box, and he's going to ease to his left and come to a stop on his marks. Right side tires off the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Over to the left side they go. Sunoco fuel going in, just 1 can. Larson is away. Hamlin, his service going on as we speak. We'll see what kind of pit stops the top 3 get here as Larson exits pit road. Hamlin out of his box. Reddick a bit slow in the left rear is away as well.
So position change there. Then it'll be Hamlin in front of Reddick once they get back up to speed. Chris Buescher is your current race leader.
Chris Buescher, Seth, who we nearly called to a win here 2 years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, it's been a nice feud all week. He and NASCAR Chasm about reliving that race. This has not been Buescher's week. Let's put it best week. Let's put it that way.
And he is on pit road this time around, is Buescher. And that will turn the lead over to Carson Hocevar, who once again, Matt, looks like they're going to run with the strategy of staying out longer than everyone else, at least longer than the leaders in that 77 team. So, once again, same strategy pulled out by Luke Lambert and the Spire Motorsports team.
Yep. That could, be very key when we get towards the end of the race. If they can continue to run long, it might be very key in stage point land as well. If you follow the USM stage points game on Twitter, because I picked Hocevar as our next winner, next new winner, and it might happen today. But here he comes to the pit lane this time around.
Yes, if you don't, follow us on Twitter X, whatever you want to call that, and play our Stage Points game. We ask you 3 questions and ask you to pick winners of NASCAR, Formula One, and IndyCar races Wow! Tyler Reddick has to avoid Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the backstretch, Seth. What in the world?
That came out of nowhere, but Reddick gets by it unscathed, but an oh my heart moment for car 45.
Carson Hocevar exits pit road as Anthony Pursuit unleashes the gas can, and he is away. Ryan Blaney is away as well, as he was very late coming to pit road. Kyle Larson will reassume the lead of this AdventHealth 400 at Kansas. Comes up right behind Ross Chastain. He was one of our ones to watch. And, well, to watch him today, you'd have to have a camera outside the top 20, which has been most of the Fox cameras so far today, it would seem. But
oh, I just now saw your heart emoji, Matthew.
yeah,
How touched.
I tell you. And Ryan Blaney's going to come off of pit road and be lapped by the leader, Kyle Larson, actually. So Blaney will be off the lead lap. Trackhouse as a whole this year, Matt, they didn't get the win on the road course at COTA. That was an upset for many. Anytime Shane Van Gisbergen doesn't win a road course. And Shane has had a good start to the season that has slowed down a bit with the likes of tracks that he just hasn't gotten a hold of yet, like Darlington and Bristol. Ross does not have a top 10 this season. We talked about Connor start to his year. I mean, Trackhouse really, really languishing here to start the season.
Yeah, it's not been brilliant, has it? I mean, the SVG's run decently well over this first portion. Really, his average finish is way up through these first few races compared to what it was last season. But then again, last season he was a rookie. Where is he now? 26th in the running order at the minute, 1 lap down. So after a decent for him qualifying yesterday, he might be in contention next week because he does go fairly well on the super speedway. And then Watkins Glen isn't too far away to get back on the road course horse. So yeah, it's been a struggle, and perhaps one slight Mexican that's moved teams over the winter who's looking at the point standings and laughing at all of them because Daniel Suarez is having a great start to his year.
Yeah.
Hey, I do need to correct you on one thing, Mr. Owens. Ross Chastain does have 1 top 10 this year. He was 3rd in Atlanta.
Yes, thank you very much. Yep, 3rd in Atlanta, very good. As might have a battle for 2nd starting to heat up as Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin are close together, and they've got lapped traffic to be circumspect about and weave their way through. Here come the 9 and 11 cars on the main straightaway across the line. Diving down onto the apron goes Elliott. He's a car length ahead of Hamlin. Elliott will rocket that car to the bottom of turn 1. Hamlin topside has Cole Custer straight ahead.
Is he going to slide up in front of him? Yes, he just does. Now Hamlin has to go to the inside of the Custer car. Here is Elliott about a car length ahead. Now he goes down to the low side of the racetrack. Hamlin drifts a little bit to the high side, but it's going to be Elliott who stays in front of Hamlin.
And across the stripe they come again with Denny ranging up on the back of Elliott as they head towards turn number 1. And he dives to the inside. Will try the slide job move. Thought about it, but then stayed middle. And he will, in fact, clear the 9. So Denny Hamlin back up to 2nd.
So Hamlin back to the number 2 position as he goes to the inside of the lap machine of A.J. Allmendinger and...
Yes. So Kyle Larson continues to lead the way. We've got 31 laps to go in Stage 2 here in Kansas. We have not had a caution for cause so far in this race. We are halfway home, just across the halfway point, in fact. 134 of 267 laps are complete. 20 cars on the lead lap. Mentioned that Ryan Blaney came off of pit road, and he came off just behind the race leader Kyle Larson. So Blaney in 21st is 1 lap down, leaving only the top 20 on the lead lap, the last of those being Daniel Suarez. Kyle Larson has really added to his lead ever since coming off of pit road, Matt. It's up to nearly 5 seconds on Denny Hamlin. And in fact, Matt, a moment ago, Tyler Reddick with a sketchy moment going into turn 1.
Yeah, just misjudged the entry to turn 1. I think he was up behind Ty Dillon. as they headed towards, it was Colchester, sorry. He actually got a bit of the wall there, just at the clip there, entry turning point to turn 1 on the driver's right, of course. So slight error from Reddick. Didn't cost him too much in terms of time. He's just about a second behind Chase Elliott in that battle for third, but a little bit of a worrying, scary moment. You don't need to lose concentration at 170 miles an hour plus heading towards turn 1.
Wesley in the comments on JBM saying Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s mission in NASCAR is to ruin as many drivers as possible this year. Boy, Stenhouse he gets the brunt of it from a lot of people.
He never beats the allegations.
No, he doesn't. Kelly Sparks in the JBM chat section with a wonderful comment says, "Y'all suck." Thank you for that. Christopher Bell running in the 5th position.
Wait. Someone said we suck?
Yeah. That's fine.
Cool.
Thanks for tuning in. And also in the comments section, we have the mind of Kip. All RFK cars were in the top 11 prior to pit stops, but now Preece is running 19th. And Ryan Preece back in the 19th position and is actually 27 seconds off the lead. So Preece could be in danger before this stage ends of going a lap down.
SVG's just had a unscheduled pit stop as well, so he's fallen to second last with an extra trip down pit road a couple of laps ago.
So it only gets worse for Trackhouse, who has their cars right now running 28th, 33rd, and 36th. Not great. One of our ones to watch today was Darrell Wallace Jr., former Kansas winner, nearly won here last fall. It's been good, not great for Bubba today, running in the 7th position, Seth.
Okay, hold the hell up. Here's an interesting question.
Okay.
Bob Fouch, 5238, just asked JB Motorsports, will you be broadcasting any WNBA games?
Oh, I will not answer that question for them. I think we have to have JT answer that question.
I think that's exactly right. That's an interesting question.
I'm not going to speak out of turn for the folks at JBM. We're just borrowing their airwaves today.
It's correct.
So we will not.
Internet waves.
We're on loan. How about to use a British term? We're on loan.
Okay, well, we're not going to dive deep into the weeds of the WNBA, but I will say apparently the Connecticut Sun have relocated, and that is so stupid. That is beyond stupid. Oh my God! UConn only wins.
They say free agency has been lit, as the kids say.
I mean, UConn's only won like 100 national championships in women's basketball, but let's not have a professional team up there.
Angel Reese is bringing her brick house to Atlanta.
Boy. Couldn't let that one go. You couldn't let it go.
Hell no. But anyway.
No. Okay.
In case I think Kelly says y'all suck because we're not covering the racing. Well, you know what? It's hard to do when the field is so effing spread out and Fox doesn't want to stick on one camera angle.
It's fine.
You try calling a race, Missy or Mister, whoever you are.
Oh God,
anyway.
It's fine.
No.
It's fine. Oh yeah.
I didn't. Bob's a Fever fan, so I didn't run him off with that Reese comment. That's good.
Oh well, the Fever obviously have a lot going for them.
Carson
Hocevar continues to try to pick up positions up the running order here. He has just overtaken Austin Cindric for 12th. So Hocevar on the same strategy as we talked about that he was on stage 1, Matt, where Luke Lambert didn't bring him down to pit road until much later than the rest of the leaders. So, again, fresher tires and the guys he's running around here towards the end of the stage.
Yeah, interesting strategy. See how high back up the field they can get. But if it runs to a similar pattern here in this stage, we've only got 20 laps of this second stage to go to what we saw in stage 1. It's going to kind of come out with we talked about a lot of golf on the show last week, come out with a bit of a par for Hocevar if he can get back to where he was.
And, like you said, see if we can get some stage points. He's up to 11th, and he would only have to make up about 2.5 seconds to get to Chris Buescher. And, again, with the roll that he is on some fresher tires, he might just be able to do that. We are down to 20 laps to go in Stage 2 here at the Kansas Speedway. As you can see, it's still Kyle Larson by nearly 5 seconds ahead of Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott holds third from Tyler Reddick. Christopher Bell feels like he's been the fifth wheel all day long, hasn't it, Seth? It feels like he's been right around fourth or fifth all day long.
Absolutely. Indeed, that has been the case. As World Feed is doing a through the field portion, but again, it's Larson, Hamlin, Elliott, Reddick, and Bell. Then Wallace, Gibbs, Keselowski. We haven't mentioned him all day, up to 8th. And then Buescher, who just passed Briscoe to grab 9th. Chris Buescher, of course, will be making some history in a couple of months in Sonoma. He'll have the first car to ever be sponsored by an international cult.
And because we are in California, I do feel the need to say the Church of Scientology is not sponsoring Ryan Preece for that race. It is indeed Seth's favorite Liverpool Football Club. No David Miscavige here in this sport.
Oh, jeez. What the hell have I done?
Daniel Suarez, running back in the 20th position, Matt, started the day 8th on the grid and inside the chase field. We've talked a little bit throughout the season about this has been a solid start to Daniel's first season at Spire. Maybe had higher expectations today after that qualifying run. He's been qualifying well this season, but he's gone backwards ever since the start, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. He's the next man up for Kyle Larson to lap, so we'll keep an eye on how Suarez is going. But again, he's in front of all the Trackhouse cars. Meanwhile, William Byron and Austin Cindric getting to a battle here. They're in turn 2, Seth, coming your way.
Yeah, indeed, as A.J. Allmendinger just continued to be a nuisance. He's just been that all day as this Byron and Cindric battle continues. Allmendinger now surging to the inside of Cindric. Now he'll try to go to the inside of Byron, and he's got a good run coming out of 4.
So Byron holding on, or at least trying to hang on to this 14th position, but Allmendinger multiple laps down, 3 laps down as it were. Might be on fresher tires than these guys, and that might be why he's running so much faster than Cindric and Byron as he does complete that pass. Just check on Corey Heim, running in the 16th position. Would probably take a lot, Matt, for him to repeat the feat of last year when he was the highest finishing 23-11 car in this race, because you got Reddick in 3rd as he's just overtaken Chase Elliott, and Darrell Wallace Jr. up in 6th, but it's still a solid run for Corey.
Yeah, and he's up 8 or 9 spots from his starting position, so just needs to log laps and keep out of danger. And as we've seen over the last couple of years in the Truck Series and from time to time in Grand National, he is a kid with a lot of talent, so he just tends to get himself positioned to get a ride down the line here within the Toyota setup, and he's doing all the right things at the moment. As we see on the pictures now, as you mentioned, Tyler Reddick has got around Chase Elliott for that podium position in the stage, of which there is 13 laps to go.
And that all happening about 6 seconds off the lead. A reminder, next Sunday, Talladega for the NASCAR Cup Series. It's the Jack Links 500. Austin Cindric, the winner of that race a year ago, as we'll head to Alabama, sweet home Alabama, as it were, next Sunday.
War Eagle.
And if you're listening on JBM, MotoGP back next weekend with the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez next weekend for JBM listeners and viewers. I'm sure Josh will be pretty excited about getting bikes back on, as I am, although we did have a Superbike this weekend. The MotoGP's been on its long hiatus thanks to the war in the Middle East, so they are back in Europe for their first European race next weekend as well.
Actually, no worry. Go UAB. Actually, if you're asking me which program in that state I prefer the most, it's UAB or both the HBCU schools, Alabama State and Alabama A&M, the Magic City Classic every year.
Again, no biases around here, but we will rank our favorite colleges of each state.
Legion. Oh yeah, and by the way, folks, at historic Legion Field, and by historic I mean in a historically rough part of the town.
And he knows what he's talking about when he says that.
Ah, Wesley Nunley says he's a Tennessee fan. We've got our favorite subscriber on JBM now.
Oh.
Now we are cooking.
I see.
The Mind of Kip says Chastain and Logano multiple laps down. I'm a Tennessee fan. I was just having some fun with the Alabama deal. Elaine Lackard says, what is the blue dot? Oh, blue. Someone told her blue dot is the leader. Okay, there you go. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yes, Chastain 2 laps down in 27th. Logano 2 laps down in 29th. Honestly, Matt, this run from Logano is mirroring what happened to him a few weeks back in Darlington, South Carolina.
Yeah, that wasn't. He didn't have to start from the rear at Darlington, but like he did today. But he was in the second half of the field after qualifying and never recovered. So, as you mentioned earlier on, Penske's mile and a half package perhaps not going the way that they want, or you could say perhaps continuing in the way it's been for the last couple of years. But Blaney was up there earlier on before his incident, and he's now fallen back, and Cindric's been in the teens most of the day. So not been a productive Penske day so far. Perhaps that will change at Long Beach later on this afternoon.
I mentioned Talladega next week, and we were just talking about Team Penske. Of course, we're coming up on a year since Joey Logano's last win. That was at Texas last year. Texas is 2 weeks away as we'll go into the month of May, which is, great times as a race fan. Talladega to close out April, month of May on the NASCAR slate. Texas, Watkins Glen, the All-Star race at Dover, and then the World 600 at Charlotte, and then another race in May. Not often you have another race in May after the World 600, but Memorial Day is earlier in the month this year. So on May 31st, we'll be under the lights at the Nashville Superspeedway on the final day of May.
And the 2 Grand Prix for Formula One that take place in the month of May are both in North America. Miami next week or 2 weeks' time, and then Canada. We won't mention when Canada is because we'll all be watching the 500.
Yes, indeed.
Both with Formula 2 in support as of this week has been announced. So that's
Bob
exciting.
says he's an Iowa's fan, and Mind of Kip says give Bob a blue star because Bob mentioned that the blue dot is the leader. Mind of Kip also says, meanwhile, Cody Ware is holding down his last place spot. No threats yet.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, but this is the one. In a way, one of the worst things that could happen for us is to read comments of people because they can go south just like we can.
Now I did know that Bob was an Iowa fan. He mentioned that I was on a JBM race last year, whatever race that was, that Iowa.
Okay, so he's not first time, long time. He is.
Right. Yes.
He's family around here.
Yes. By the way, I mentioned that Memorial Day is so much earlier on the calendar. That makes the 500
it's
this year.
definitely not Bob's first time. No.
No, definitely not. I mentioned
definitely not. Hello, Bob.
That the Indy 500 this year is on May 24th. It's the first time that the 500 has been on that date since. Anyone?
Before I was born.
No, 2015.
No. Just tell us.
Yeah, 2015.
2015. That was an underrated 500.
I was definitely alive then. Yeah.
That was vastly underrated. Finish there, Montoya holding off Power to win that one. It was excellent. But all I gotta say is for our friend Mr. Hawkeye here, Matthew, is that and the comments are open, Bob.
Oh, God. He has no idea what that means. No one else does. 3 laps to go in Stage 2.
Inside joke Grand Prix.
Kyle Larson leads Denny Hamlin by 2.3 seconds.
I gotta get to work for my hot lap.
Yeah, you might want to. As Larson is heading towards a stage victory once again. In fact, he's going to come across the line here. It'll be 2 laps to go here in stage number 2 in the AdventHealth 400. We'll try to call him to this stage win if we're allowed to, but there is a stage point up for grabs here, Matt, in a battle for 7th at the start-finish line.
Yeah, closest fight within the top 10 is for 7th. Tai Gibbs holding off Brad Keselowski and the on-rushing Chris Buescher, so he's going to have a RFK double coming up behind him here momentarily is Gibbs, who's on the high side in 1 and 2. Keselowski trying to look underneath.
Yep, Gibbs has the spot. Keselowski, though, tucks right back in behind Tai Gibbs, heading down the back straightaway. Heading into that number 3 corner, Gibbs drifting up high. Keselowski goes just a little bit lower, and Keselowski might have a run on him on 4. Good run for Keselowski.
Trying to take over this 7th position on the last lap of the stage. Keselowski, the winner of this race in 2011, a nose out in front of Gibbs going to turn 1. Will follow that battle because they've got a full mile to go to the green and white checkered flag. But Kyle Larson is coming to it now. He clears turn 4, and across the line, Kyle Larson scores a stage victory for the 2nd week in a row. He wins stage 2 ahead of Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell. Who gets to the line to finish 7th in that battle between Keselowski and Gibbs? It is Keselowski, 0.6 of a second ahead of Gibbs. So Keselowski gets 7th ahead of Gibbs 8th, Buescher 9th, and Hocevar did bridge the gap to 10th position, and he gets a stage point. Free pass will go to Daniel Suarez in 20th. That means Ryan Blaney in 21st just misses out. Under caution for just the 2nd time this afternoon at the Kansas Speedway, a race that has only seen the 2 cautions for the 2 stage breaks. Seth, no Formula One this week, and IndyCar hasn't happened yet. So what are you cooking up on a hot lap today?
Well, I want to say this. First, shout out to the Speed on Fox Twitter account. They have done a great job of posting a graphic of all the weekend races in all the series each week. Which one that's good? Which one that's great for gearheads, and 2 that's great for me with the segment that I do. So let's start with the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Grand National Series last night. The Kansas Lottery 300. They were bamming, they were slamming, and they were flipping in Carson Quapple's case. But when it was all said and done, I gotta tell you, Matthew, you know how you send to a chat, you love the fact that Stingray Rob, you want to try me, it's from Idaho. You like doing that?
Yes.
Mine is if I get to do another Grand National race again, is to tell me that Taylor Gray is from New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And the man from New Mexico found his own land of enchantment. Victory Lane. He led 48 laps last night, won by 0.7 of a second over Sheldon Creed. Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love, and Brent Cruz round out the top 5. Brandon Jones led 67 laps, but a pit penalty relegated him to an 8th place finish. Justin Allgaier has a whopping 131-point lead over Sheldon Creed. In the championship standings, Love is 3rd, then Day 4th, and Jones 5th. Rajah Caruth currently 25 points ahead of Ryan Sieg for the final chase spot. Earlier yesterday afternoon, it was ARCA at Kansas, and it looked as if Jack Wood was on his way to victory. He led 39 laps, but then a late caution came out that set up an overtime restart. Wood then got dumped. In the end, Gio Ruggiero held off Daniel Dye, who for some reason was making his return to racing this soon. Ruggiero led 50 of the 108 laps. Dye 2nd, Jake Bowman, Gavin Bichelle, and Laney Bice rounding out your top 5. Wood led 39 laps before the accident. He finished a sad 18th. Yesterday, it was IMSA at Long Beach, and where is the effing IMSA results at? Am I going to go on the website? Look at Racing Reference being slow as crap. All right, we'll get there in a minute.
It was Renger, Van der Zande, and Nick Yellerly that won for Acura.
Matt bailing me out as always. So anyway, how about Australian V8 Supercar? They were in action. The ITM Christchurch Super 440, or the ITM Topo. That is Christchurch Super 440.
Christchurch, yeah.
Yep, and 4 races of the weekend. Kai Allen won the first race. Brody Kostecki took race 2. The 3rd, and 4th wins were Matthew Payne. The point leader is still Brock Feeney by 23 over Brody Kostecki, but of course that doesn't really matter because of their playoff format. They still have that, right, Matt? They did not change that.
Yes, it's the 2nd year of it this season.
Okay, so they did not change it like they did this past year. Was where I was trying to get at.
No.
World Racing, World Endurance Championship, the 6 hours of Imola, and
thank you.
Let's get some results. Yeah, green flag wave, standing start from Bill Belichick. But anyway, The Toyota Racing number 8 won the Hypercar Provisional by 13.3 seconds over the Ferrari AF Corsi. Then it was the Toyota number 7 who finished in the number 3 position. So that's the World Endurance Cars. They were in Italy this weekend. How about the World of Outlaws? Always a show when they were on. They were in Jacksonville, Illinois, and Hopstead, Indiana this weekend. So it was a double dip of Midwestern fun. And as I get the recaps and results up here, the Friday race was postponed actually, which was the Hy-Vee Perks 40 for the Jacksonville Speedway in Jacksonville, Illinois, and that's results. And where's the schedule at? Oh my God, the race is today. The other race is today, so they're running today. The World of Outlaws Southern Indiana Showdown at Hopstead, Indiana. These stupid pop-ups need to get the F out of my way. But anyway, event info. It's race day. Well, yeah, tell me what time the race starts, Cletus. But anyway, the race does not start until... that doesn't start until tonight, so I just wasted everybody's time. And the Cars West Series was at the Stockton 99 Speedway. Was last night, and let's see who won that, shall we? And then after that, I'm going to go to Matt for a British touring car update, or JT, whoever the hell's got it. But anyway, the super late models ran in Stockton last night, and it was, well, no, they did not. What the hell kind of thing am I getting? I'm getting fake news from Speed. Matt, tell everybody what happened to the damn touring cars.
They were at Donington this weekend, and as you will know, if you would have been listening to JBM, so was JB. I'm sure he'll be telling us all about it during the Long Beach broadcast later on. A historic win yesterday, the first ever qualifying race, which was half points and set the grid for race 1, was won after a penalty by Dan Rowbottom in the brand new Mercedes for Team Plato. Today's races, Tom Ingram won the first race, but then was disqualified on the road. So Mikey Doble got the win. Race 2 was won by Ash Sutton. And the third race was also won by Ash Sutton on the reverse. So not a good day for Ash Sutton yesterday, but he comes away today with 2 victories.
By the way, it was Kyle Keller. It was Kyle Keller who won that Cars Tour West Pro late model race at Stockton 99 Speedway.
Very good. Thank you, Seth.
And quickly, I have more historical stuff that's happened on 2 wheels. Nicolo Bulega won all 3 races at Assen for World Superbike this weekend, and he has now tied the record for consecutive victories in that championship with the current holder as of yesterday, basically. Top Razgat Lioglu, he's now won 13 races on the spin, the first 9 of this season, and 4 from the back end of last year. So we said he wouldn't be beaten, and it is proving to be the case.
Can there be an honourable mention?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
The Legends Cars Elite Cup was also at Donington
Park.
Park.
Was a hell of a finish.
Race 1 was won by Aaron Cook by just over 1/10 of a second. Race 2 was won by Andy Bird, with the top 3 within 1/10 of a second. Margin of victory 75 thousandths. Race 3 was won by Tyler Reed by 2/10. That was a one-off, non-photo finish. Never mind. Here's another non-photo finish. Tyler Reed also won round 4, which was heat 1 of today, by 3/10. Then, race 5 of the weekend, Aaron Cook won. Top 3 separated by 57 thousandths of a second. Margin of victory, photo finish, 7 thousandths of a second.
JT
and
showed
then
we got on the that was a hell of a finish.
And then the one that I showed Seth was the final, which was round 6. Tyler Reed won that one by 14 thousandths of a second. Top 5 separated by 90 thousandths of a second. And while we are here. Matthew,
Yes.
you were earlier on mentioning drivers and where they come from. Where does the driver? Who is the driver, and where does he come from? Who's currently in 21st place, please, Matthew?
Would be High Point, North Carolina's Ryan Blaney.
Thank you.
Can I interrupt with a serious thing? Chase Elliott was blocked by Austin Cindric exiting his stall when he lost 8 spots.
Yes, he did. And Carson Hocevar's team has held serve on pit road this time around, so he will be a top 10 restarter. Ryan Blaney, speaking of holding serve on pit road, he's not on the lead lap, but would you just know it, Ryan Blaney just had the fastest 4-tire pit stop he's had all year long, Matt.
Oh, my Lord.
Wow.
Instant results.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they need something because they're mired in the midfield and a lap down. So more of that hopefully to come for them.
Yeah, if they could get a
We'll be
quick
talking about
caution.
some fast pit stops at Talladega next week.
Yeah, yes. If they could get a quick caution off this restart, they could either get the free pass or be in position to do the wave around. Matt mentioned this earlier, and I'll say again, this has been a topic of conversation a lot this season, more than I remember it for the last 10 years or so. We are really burning up caution laps during these stage yellows, and they've finally just given one to go. We've just gone through the chews, and we will be going green at the end of lap 8 of this stage. It means this stage will take green with 94 laps to go in the race, but there has to be a way to clean this up.
Well, again, if you think the TV networks aren't influencing the racing,
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
That's what I was trying to tell people that wanted the Winston Cup point format, the Latford format back. Networks don't want it. If they wanted it, we would have had it.
Yeah. JT?
Very, very quickly, another NASCAR hasn't mentioned. Credit where it is due. The number 12 pit crew is on it today. It's a shame the car is handling terribly and having a rough day on track. Regardless, they're performing very well, even if it is sort of like pitching a scoreless in a game you're losing 16-1.
Here's one for you. The Mind of Kip says he used to be the exec field rep for the Better Business Bureau, serving High Point, Thomasville, Archdale, Trinity, and Environ. That was decades ago.
Very good. All right.
There's this woman named Samantha in the comments section that likes listening to us. You familiar with that one, Matthew?
I wonder. All right, Matt, here we go. Final stage.
Green flag back up in the air. Let's get the third stage underway finally here at Kansas Speedway with a Toyota front row. Hamlin and Bell, they'll be side by side heading into one. Some dodging and weaving going on in the back of the field. Oh, Chris Buescher was almost squeezed up into the wall by his teammate Brad Keselowski. They survive. Hamlin leads, Seth.
3 wide for third. Hamlin the leader. Bell second. Wallace with a good run on the outside.
Wow.
He's going to shoot up to third. Now Bell climbs the banking outside. He'll try to get a run on Hamlin. He closes up on him on the exit of 4.
Bell's got a great run off the top of turn 4. Hamlin dives to the apron. Bell is right there with him, and now Bell will pull up alongside his teammate Denny Hamlin. Bell with a nose in front going into the corner. He'll wrap it around the very top of the racetrack. Christopher Bell looking for the lead for the first time this afternoon.
And he's got it, the Oklahoma man in Kansas, Big 8 country, and it's Bell with the race lead as he booms his way to the top spot. Hamlin now back to second, Wallace third, Reddick fourth, Hocevar and Larson for fifth.
We were talking about Christopher Bell being the nearly man of the day, being running in 5th, 6th all day. He must have heard us because here he is at the front of the field. Battle on here between Wallace and Reddick. The teammates swapping position for third. Reddick goes through. Gibbs winding it up around the outside around Chase Elliott and Riley Herbst.
Yeah, Gibbs, the good run on the outside of the Herbst car. Chase Elliott now trying to make a move further back there. Hamlin has closed back in within a car length of Bell.
Yeah, these Gibbs teammates might not be done tussling for this top spot. They flash across the line. It's Bell by 2, maybe 3 car lengths. Going back to 1. Bell will load it up around the top one more time. Hamlin's right there with him.
Indeed he is. Meanwhile, Gibbs and Keselowski continue their tussle. Further back, Keselowski with a good run to the inside of Gibbs. They go side by side down the back straightaway. Now into turn 3, slight contact. Keselowski goes inside of Gibbs. That'll be for 9th place. Keselowski will clear.
He will, and Gibbs will get the run perhaps on him. Here is Larson, a bit further forward, trying to make up for the spots that he lost in the pit shuffle. He is 5th, trying to get around Wallace in turns 1 and 2. Tries to go to the low side. Wallace will have him covered off.
So indeed he will. So it's Bubba in the number 4 position. Larson now drops back to 5th. Now Larson darts way down to the inside of the racetrack. Larson trying to get to the inside of Wallace. He can't make the move, though. And Chris Buescher quiet all day, but he's up to 6th.
3 cars across the racetrack here, across the start-finish line. Chase Briscoe swoops from top to bottom to cover off both Brad Keselowski and Tai Gibbs. 3-way fight at 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Good racing here. Oh, that's a good run by Gibbs in the center of quarter to not only pass Keselowski, but to draw to within the scotch of Briscoe. Now, here goes Gibbs to the outside of the racetrack. Can't quite make the run, and the battle rages on.
It's all happening at the back end of the top 10, 8th, 9th, 10th for these guys. And we're looking back from the Gibbsmobile, looking at Keselowski. If you're watching the feed, they tip into turn number 1. Christopher Bell leading now by 0.6 of a second from Hamlin. Reddick, Wallace, Larson, the rest of the top 5.
Bell has a 5-car length lead on Hamlin. Both drivers up against the wall in turns 3 and 4. Status quo at the front of the field.
And they have left Tyler Reddick by nearly 2 seconds. Reddick in 3rd, Wallace 4th. So all Toyotas taking the first 4 positions. And Kyle Larson, who lost the lead on pit road under caution, Matt, he's got caught in traffic and he has not made any gains at all. He's now gone from a comfortable leader to 4 seconds back of the lead in 5th.
Yeah, traffic and dirty air, so not great for the 5-car that looked like he might be in position to challenge these Camrys this afternoon. Perhaps that challenge has been blunted somewhat at the moment as Bell clicks off yet another lap, and he's starting to stretch away a little bit. 0.7 the gap to Hamlin, and Hamlin is 1.3 clear of his car in Tyler Reddick in 3rd place.
Yep. And then it's Wallace 4th, Larson 5th, as you see on your screen. Buescher 6th, Hocevar 7th, Briscoe 8th, Keselowski 9th, and Gibbs in 10th. Give a call to Riley Herbst in 13th. He's just had a solid day.
Yeah, he's been up top 15 most of the day, and he's outrunning guys like Ryan Preece, William Byron, and all the Penske gang all day long. This race was moved up in the calendar just a little bit, up into an April date, Matt, so it has not been a full calendar year since Kyle Larson's last win, but it was this race a year ago, the last win for Larson. He's on a 32-race winless drought. He led 284 laps last week at Bristol, but could not score the win. He's led a lot of laps here today and won a stage, but now chances of winning took a bit of a dip there during the caution flag pit stops and the ensuing restart, and I'm not so sure the 5 is going to be able to get back up there without the help of a yellow, which we have not had today for cause.
And he's under attack from Chris Buescher as well for his 5th place as they head towards 7th. With a winless streak like that, some might say he shouldn't deserve a championship, Gahalf. But he did win, of course, at Phoenix last November. And here is Buescher to the rear of the 5-car coming out of turn number 4. Another good solid day for RFK. They were so good at Darlington, weren't they, on a similar length for racetrack, although a different configuration. And here is Buescher trying to attack Larson as they head towards 1. This is the battle for 5th position.
It is the battle for the 5th position. See, Matthew, I wasn't going to say that we were without a caution for incident because not hint hint. The mind of Kip with some good analysis. Bell is flying. He'll burn up his tires too fast running that hot. Denny Hamlin is patient. He will pass his teammate when it's time.
Well, as you can see on your screen, a lot of the leaders turned their, well, a number of the leaders, not a lot, but a number of the leaders turned their fastest lap of the race here off of this most recent restart. And Christopher Bell, the lap that he did turn was the first lap all day long that anyone has turned in the 29-second bracket, a 29.925. So Bell currently holds the Xfinity fastest lap, which if he does hold on to it for the rest of the day and, of course, finishes on the lead lap, he will receive an extra point in the championship. So Bell out to the lead, but only by a couple of car lengths on Hamlin. They've dropped Tyler Reddick in third, who's 2.5 seconds back. Then it's another large gap of 2.5 seconds to the fourth place running Toyota of Darrell Wallace Jr. Austin Cindric has broken into the top 10, highest running Penske car by far. In fact, he's the only Penske car currently on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney did lose a spot on the restart to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., so right now Stenhouse is in the free pass position if we were to get that yellow. Let's pick up a three-way battle. This is outside the top 10. Ryan Preece, Chase Elliott, Riley Herbst, 12th, 13th, and 14th are in turn 2.
Yeah, Elliott goes to the inside of that multicolored number 60 of Preece as they work their way down the back straightaway. Preece with a slight advantage. Now Elliott dives down to the inside of the racetrack. Side by side go Preece and Elliott is going to slide up in front of Preece. Good pass for Chase Elliott.
So he takes the position away. So that's 12th for Elliott. Leaders coming back together, Seth, heading back to you.
Well, right, well, Kip, maybe we call him Kipsterdamus. I don't know, as Hamlin has pulled within 3 car lengths of Bell. Lap traffic also having something to do with it. Ross Chastain is woefully off the pace at turn 4.
Looks like he might be coming to pit road in that Busch Light Apple red number 1 for the driver that won here in the fall of 2024. It's been an abysmal day. We talk about the struggles of Penske today. Trackhouse has not been any better. Leaders come off the second corner.
Yep, and it's a 4-car length lead for Bell over Denny Hamlin as they head down the back stretch and into turn number 3. Both cars up against the outside of the wall. Bell now goes about a half a groove lower into a middle lane, and now Hamlin will follow in his tire tracks.
No traffic for a little while, at least, for those guys. Tyler Reddick having a bit of a job there to get around. I think that was Cody Ware. So it's open in front of the windshield for Christopher Bell at the moment. A little bit further back, Elliott, Briscoe and Preece together as they head across the start-finish line and back towards turn number 1.
Indeed they do. So Briscoe and Elliott and Preece, 3 under a blanket. Riley Herbst isn't too far back. Elliott will stay in front. They are single file down the back straightaway as we continue to wind it down. We're, 76 laps to go? It's getting down to brass tacks this afternoon here in Kansas.
Yeah, and the pace that this race has had all day, it's going to go by pretty quickly, you would think, and that means that you really need to be on point. You cannot take a lap off and still a pit stop to be made. That pit stop has to be perfect. Christopher Bell leads the way, Matt. 8 Kansas races with the next-gen car, and Christopher Bell has only been outside the top 10 in 1 of those 8 races. He was the runner-up to Kyle Larson in this race a year ago. He's the leader, but he's not exactly stepping away.
Yeah, as we wind up towards the 200-lap mark. Just having a thought there, as you talked about pit stops and stuff, and we've seen some shots of some tyres being corded today. I wouldn't be too surprised if in the next 6 or 7 laps we see a few people come to the pit lane and try and stop this, free stint this final stage, because it's been a green kind of day.
Yeah.
And there might be an opportunity for people to try something different in the strategy department. So watch out for that over the next 5 to 10 laps or so, as the leaders continue at a pace here, Seth, coming back towards you.
Yep, Bell's lead steady at about 3 car lengths as they go to turn 3. Bell on the high side. Hamlin now goes to the inside. Again, really not closing up much. Bell still your leader.
If you are watching your screen, and we know that if you're here, you're listening, but if you are also watching the screen, whether you're on the Ultimate Sports Media page or if you're on JBM, you can see the running order is split up into 2 pages, and I'd just like to draw your attention to the right side of the screen, and that's where the lower positions are running. Look at that right side of the screen. That's 25th to 37th. You know what's not on that right side of the screen, right page? A Toyota. There are only 10 Toyotas in this field. 5 of them are in the top 10. 8 of them are in the top 16. And that right side of the page, Matt, as I talk about, that's 25th to 37th, is only Fords and Chevrolets.
Yeah, we kind of expect that from Toyota when we come here, more than anywhere else of the mile and a half, but they do go well elsewhere too. And we saw Denny Hamlin pick up the win, of course, at Las Vegas not so long ago on the other mile and a half on the year. So not to be too unexpected. It's been a Camry kind of day so far. But it was a Camry kind of day all day in the full race last time we were here, and they didn't come away with the trophy. So could still all change in the next 70 laps.
Yeah, very well could. 70 laps to go here at the Kansas Speedway. Christopher Bell holding on to the lead. First time he's led all day outside of a green flag pit stop cycle. He's got about 0.6 of a second on his teammate Denny Hamlin. This has been the way this race has gone. If you're just twisting us in here, this whole race has been lean and green, and it has been this kind of day where you get a restart, you get into a running position, then you have to find your pace and see just how long you can manage the tires and how long you can stay at the pace that best fits the handling of your race car. Again, no caution for cause in this race, only 2 yellows for stages, 11 lead changes among 6 different drivers, and almost half the field is a lap down. Only 20 of the 37 starters are on the lead lap. Again, the first car 1 lap down is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. back in 31st. We've been trying to keep an eye on Ryan Blaney. Said that maybe if he got a quick yellow, he could get the free pass. Not only did he lose that spot on the restart to Stenhouse, but now he's been taken over by John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones. Hasn't been right for Blaney today, especially since the contact on pit road with A.J. Allmendinger. Blaney is 1 lap down in 24th. His teammate Joey Logano 2 laps down in 26th. We talked about Trackhouse, how it's just been a nothing day for them. They are 29th, 31st, and 33rd right now, with Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilich and Ross Chastain. Kyle Busch is 2 laps down, make that 3 laps down in 32nd position. Really, Matt, unless you're driving a Toyota or a 5-car, you haven't really been anywhere close to the lead pace all day long through 200 laps.
Yeah, indeed so. It's been a struggle for a lot of guys today. A couple of notable shout-outs on the positive side, though. Austin Cindric inside the top 10, holding up the banner for Team Penske. We've mentioned him a couple of times today, and worth another mention again. Corey Heim in 15th place on his sporadic cup schedule for the season, just up behind his teammate Riley Herbst. So some guys making the best of it, but a lot of people on the negative side of the board today.
Cindric really needs to get it to the checkered flag with a good run like this. Has not been a good start to the season for him. He's 18th in the championship standings. He has only 2 top 10s, those coming at Darlington and Martinsville. Seth, the day for Carson Hocevar, up and down and then up again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been quite the day. Blaney with some colorful language over the radio a minute ago, talking about how bad the car is, by the way. So, it's just been one of those. Mama said there'd be days like these. And, here's one. Apparently, during the practice session, IMSA driver Philippe Nasser, because, of course, IMSA was at Long Beach, the Fox crew was talking to Philippe Nasser, and the IMSA and Formula F1 driver said he's open to an opportunity to go to IndyCar.
Okay.
Well, he would, if the pandemic hadn't happened, been driving for Carlin in 2020. But things changed there. And worked out well for him because he's gone to Porsche Penske and done a great deal of winning that and Action Express with Pipo Derani before that.
Pipo Derani, shout out to Collins Janis.
Yes. Let's pick up this battle between Hocevar and Gibbs, Seth. This is for 7th, going to 3.
Great battle indeed. Hocevar just slightly in front, a little sideways going to turn 3, and Brad Keselowski is not too far back of these guys. Gibbs now going to wind it up off 4 for a run on the top side.
He will have the run coming out of 4, but we won't be able to pick up with it because we've gone back to a shot of the leaders. But I can tell you at the line, Gibbs was ahead. And he is ahead as they come through turn number 2. I think they're coming back from break on Fox. That's why they've done that. As Keselowski has also got around Hocevar.
And he is ahead. Yes, he is. But anyway, Keselowski and Hocevar side by side through turns 3 and 4. Hocevar. Oh, Keselowski with a big wheel off 4. Somehow kept it off the wall.
Good save by Keselowski, but he will lose a lot of track position here. He will fall away from that battle for the 7th position, which now becomes a private battle between Gibbs and Hocevar back in 2.
Continues E7 a fight for. Gibbs has it. Hocevar wants it. Hocevar now diving away to the inside in turn number 3. Gibbs, though, is going to stay in front of him, though, by a car length. Hocevar just not quite fast enough.
Yep, so they'll line up 7th and 8th with Keselowski recovering after that big slide a little bit further back now in the 9th position. Battle might be coming on for 2nd here.
Yeah, here comes Tyler Reddick to the inside of Denny Hamlin in turn 3. Reddick now with a good move inside as they split the slow car of Ross Chastain.
So Tyler Reddick applies the full court press on Denny Hamlin. Reddick will throw it down onto the apron here on the main straightaway, puts a nose ahead of Hamlin. Chastain, who's just off of pit road, does have fresher tires than these two. Reddick slams the accelerator pedal to the floor and makes the pass on Hamlin.
So Tyler Reddick moves to 2nd, just a little more than a second behind race leader Christopher Bell. Reddick to 2nd. Can his excellent start to the season look set to continue with at least another good finish? Could it be yet another win? Meanwhile, Keselowski, I'd say he rebounded from the save nicely. He just took 8th from Hocevar despite wiggling again in 3.
Yeah, so Keselowski making up that position that he was looking at a couple of laps ago, gathered himself after the big slide, and now has got that pass done. So he'll reset his sights on Tai Gibbs as Christopher Bell continues to cut through traffic in turn number 3. We are right on the cusp here. It actually come a little bit later than I suggested they might do of our first round of pit stops in this stage. It will not be long now before leaders come. Maybe they aren't the free stop, the 2 stop, should I say, the free stint strategy was not looked upon kindly by the crew chiefs, and they are going to try and split this final stage in half as they did with the other 2 stages.
Off turn 2, Tyler Reddick just got squeezed by a couple of Trackhouse cars. Ross Chastain, as I said, who's on fresher tires than everybody right now, got to the inside of Reddick and nearly squeezed him up into Shane Van Gisbergen. Chastain is flying right now on the fresher rubber, and that's the fastest the 1 car has been all day. Overall for the race, he's 2 days on horseback behind the leader, 3 laps down in the 30th position. Bell continues to lead by about 1 second.
Indeed. As it is all Christopher Bell north of a second. Apparently there was some splitter damage for Blaney, and says it's really, really hard to overcome. Just to follow up on that, Bell has just passed Zane Smith.
Tyler Reddick is really starting to close in.
I've not heard that horseback line. Sorry.
Well, again, you tune into us, you never know what you're going to hear in so many ways. Yeah. Christopher Bell continuing to show the way. He had a sure win, I'm sure he felt like, earlier this year at Phoenix, that he didn't quite get home to the finish line. Bell still looking for his first win of the season. But as we talked about here at Kansas, he's been really good. As I said, 7 top 10s in 8 races here in the next gen car. Overall, 9 top 10s in the last 10 starts that he's had here at Kansas Speedway. And right now, Seth, he's looking good, but Reddick is starting to get a little bit bigger in the mirror.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of tenths on that last lap, did Reddick. And meanwhile, Hocevar continuing to backslide. Austin Cindric has just made a pass for the 9th position. So, move to PPG number 2. Boy, talk about carrying the flag for your company today. Austin Cindric most certainly doing that in the 9th position. And Hocevar now dropping back to 10th.
So change there. Here's Denny Hamlin, who's now 3rd, as we talked about, after Reddick got around him. He's on his own a little bit, on the little island on his own, coming out of turn number 2.
Reddick picked up another 10th last lap. 54 be 53 laps to go. Line. Bell just made another move around the slow car, Cole Custer, but Reddick is there.
Yeah, and Bell maneuvering through some lap traffic here is helping, but Reddick is also having to get by these vehicles as well. Lap 50 of the stage ongoing. We've got 53 to go in the race, and the fight is at the front.
But Reddick's hemmed in a little bit by Custer, having a hard time getting around him. So Bell's going to be able to leg this lead out a little bit. Reddick will finally clear both Custer and Ware, but he probably lost a couple of tenths in the process. Actually, he's not cleared Ware. Wow.
Chase Briscoe's just come to pit lane, so that might kick off the pit stops. He was just outside the top 10, so we'll keep an eye on that. Reddick now does get it through, and as I say that, here comes Denny Hamlin from third place, coming down to the service of his number 11 crew.
So, on to pit road for what should be the final scheduled pit stop of the day comes Denny Hamlin as Chris Gale throws his cards on the table, and he's the first of the leaders to bring his car to pit road. Right side tires already on. The National Debt Relief Toyota. Left side tires going on. Hamlin is away. So that green flag run for Hamlin, Matt, we went green on lap 9. So that was about a 42-lap run. It'll be 50 to the finish if it stays green, and that would be the longest run on tires anyone's had all day.
Yeah, you're going to have some people really out of tyre at the end of this run, and trying to get this run to go as long as you can will help you at the back end of this race. If we stay green, of course, that is the million-dollar question on the day. So as Bell crosses the line now, it is 50 laps to go at Kansas. And it is Christopher Bell out front by about half a second from Tyler Reddick, but a pit stop phase just beginning.
I'll tell you, money stop time. And now we got more cars coming down pit road. Tai Gibbs being one of them.
So Gibbs onto pit lane in that bright yellow and blue Toyota, Matt. Let's cover the stop as he is, hot into the box.
Hot, but got it stopped. A little bit of scuff marks on the wheel arches on the 54 on the right-hand side. They've got a good exit opening on that pit stop. It was a really fast stop for the 54. He's down and away.
Ryan Preece on pit road this lap, and Kyle Larson now is as well. The Stage 2 winner comes to pit road for his final scheduled stop of the day. Does the 5 team have their winning drought ended here at 32 races? Comes to a stop right on his marks. Right side tires off and on. Bit of a wedge adjustment in the back window, maybe half a round. Left side tires are on. Oh, fuel was still engaged, and Larson dropped the hammer and took off. Brad Keselowski on pit road, along with fellow Michigander Eric Jones, and Shane Van Gisbergen was stalled on pit road. On the racetrack, Reddick continues to get closer to Bell. They're racing to 3, separated by 2 car lengths. Chris Buescher slides into his pit box trying to whip it around the stationary car of Todd Gilliland. He stopped at a cockeyed angle, but Buescher was able to get back safely into his box. Tyler Reddick from second hits pit road here. So Reddick is on pit road from second on the racetrack, but Bell stays out. And what's going to happen here, Matt, Denny Hamlin's going to be the leader once these pit stops cycle out, because he's had 5 laps on fresher tires more than Reddick and Bell. Let's cover the stop of the 45.
You would assume so, but he was 3 seconds behind the leader when he came in, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as Reddick slides to his stop in the number 1 pit stall. Right-hand side tyres done, jack done, no adjustments in the rear of that car. Much like Hamlin and Larson as Bell comes to pit road as well. Reddick down and away. Good clean stop for the 45.
Christopher Bell's in at the turn 4 into pit road, Seth.
Indeed he is. Going to be 4 tires. They do a tear off the windshield of that Reese's Toyota. Big stop. Can't make any mistakes on that black and red car. And indeed, that's what happens. Good stop, it looks like, for Team 20.
We'll watch the blend, but as Bell is going down pit road, Denny Hamlin is already coming off of turn 4. Hamlin will certainly be ahead of Bell. The question is, did he come out ahead of Reddick? The answer to that is yes, he did. So here's Hamlin whipping it around into turn 1. He's cleared Bell by, a long, long distance. Denny Hamlin will go back to the lead here at Kansas.
So Hamlin to the lead. What a pit stop. And the strategy call from the 11 team looks as if it might, keyword might, be playing off. He's going to be about, 5 seconds ahead of Reddick or thereabouts.
Now Daniel Suarez is the current leader. He's not yet stopped. And Matt, he might have a problem. He might have a right front tire going down off the top of turn 2.
And he might have almost got the wall there in front of Cody Ware, but I think he kept it out of it. And it looked like he was slow. It was being pounced on, but yes, they've gone too far with the Nations Guard number 7 in terms of stint length. We stay green, and Suarez will get it back to pit road. But if he drops a bunch of debris from that tyre, then we might get a yellow. Hamlin to the front now.
Suarez started the day 15th in the championship standings, only 16 points clear of the chase cutoff. This is the quarter pole mark of the season here, race 9 of 36, and this will cost Suarez a lot of points and positions on the racetrack, as there was a puff of smoke that came out from the right front of that 7 car on the approach to turn 1, and it just skated up the banking. Not sure if he made wall contact. If he did, it wasn't heavy. He has made it to pit road. Denny Hamlin comes off turn 4. He is the leader, and as he crosses the line, 43 laps to go. We'll wait for Tyler Reddick to cross the line. He does here. The gap is 3.3 seconds, but Reddick took a full second out of it on that last lap, just proving how much fresher now Reddick's tires are than Hamlin's. The race is on, Seth.
Indeed it is. And it is Hamlin with a 3-second lead over Reddick, but Reddick going to close in, you would imagine. By the way, the last time we had a race without a caution for incident, without a natural caution, Coda in 24. Last time on an oval, Vegas, spring 19.
It's been a long time. We got 42 laps to go still here. So, Matt, this has all worked out the way we thought it would when we saw Denny Hamlin pit so early. He put in about 5 or 6 extra laps on fresher tires than Reddick and Bell, and he was able to build a pretty large lead. But now that Reddick and Bell have made their stops and they're on their fresher tires, Tyler Reddick now has the sails in the wind, and he is starting to run down Hamlin. It's now 2.8 seconds. He's chopped a second and a half off the lead over the last 3 laps.
0.3 of a second on the last lap. Denny Hamlin was in a big old wedge of traffic, but he's cleared it. So, and also don't forget about Christopher Bell. He's just under 5 seconds back in third with even fresher tyres than the guys in front.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out as Hamlin will come to the line this time round. 40 laps to go here in Kansas, 60 miles to decide it. Toyotas have dominated the day. Matt White, he knows what he's talking about. On the whiteboard, he said, is it going to be Toyotas versus the field? Right now, Matt, 6 of the top 7 spots owned by Toyota.
And we also said it was going to be a green race, and to Steph's point, we've had that too.
Every now and again, it does come across as if we know what we're talking about.
Well, what we're talking about, yeah. Well, apart from that, we picked Ross Chastain as one of our ones to watch. That's gone a bit south. But otherwise, we're on a good hit day today. Here's Brad Keselowski trying to get around Chase Briscoe, who will move up into the Chase points standings if he continues on with his good run, and Shane Van Gisbergen penultimate car in the field today at the moment. As Keselowski will try and complete the pass on Briscoe, will keep it wound up on the outside, and they'll be side by side and both lose out to Daniel Suarez.
Suarez with 4 Mr. Feelgoods after that, after he had to make that pit stop. So he blows by them. Meanwhile, Briscoe and Keselowski continue to be side-by-side percent. Boy, that Keselowski car has been loose for about 20 laps through 3 and 4.
Comes across the nose of Briscoe out of 4, but Briscoe will force his way back to the right elbow of Keselowski. They get very close together going into 1, and Brad's going to try to pull a slide job in the middle of the corner.
Indeed he is. I'll tell you, that was a wild moment right there. That was really, really close. Meanwhile, Noah Gragson on pressure tires presumably has now passed Briscoe. Gragson, a slow car, having a not so good day. Meanwhile, boy,
Christopher
what a
Bell.
change at third, man.
Christopher Bell with a problem, Matt. He is off the pace.
Seems like it. He's lost some time to the leader. He's now lost third place to Kyle Larson. So the 20 car, who was the leader before this cycle of pit stops, is slow, and it looks like he's being caught here by Darrell Wallace Jr. as well in turn 3. So perhaps a problem rearing its head here for the Team 20.
I wonder if he had a moment coming off of turn 4 as he made contact with the wall. I was trying to see if maybe the right rear, some paint has been rubbed off, but perhaps he just got a piece of the wall coming out of 4 and had lost all of his momentum, but Larson got by him quick, and now, Seth, let's see if Wallace can.
Well, let's see. Wallace has a good run on the approach to turn number 3. Bell, though, back to the outside.
Ross Chastain, a roadblock!
Oh my gosh! What in the wide world of sports just happened? Oh, wow. Ross Chastain, I think, trying to get onto pit road. We talked earlier about how pit entry is so tricky here. I think he was trying to get to pit road and was going half speed, it looked like, as Wallace and Bell ran up on him, and that was nearly a complete disaster. That was nearly a William Byron, Ty Dillon at Las Vegas moment a year ago. Wow.
Yeah, that was scary, but they've all survived, and Wallace has got the spot on Bell for fourth place. Hamlin's lead now 3.4. It has stagnated. Reddick's charge seems to have faded for the moment, anyway.
Yeah, indeed it has. Then Larson third, Wallace fourth, Bell fifth, Gibbs sixth, Keselowski seventh, eighth is Briscoe, Buescher ninth, and Cindric 10th.
And
I know look at what happened a minute ago.
We're finally going to get our answer on Christopher Bell, Matt. He did scuff the wall, and actually he was on it for quite a while in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that would open up the door for Kyle Larson to swing through, and it just took him a little while to have a feel out to make sure the car was okay, and it's pretty decent contact for quite some time to see Bell there in the middle of 3 and 4, but seems to have recovered somewhat and now finds himself in P5, and that was the moment there.
Gosh.
We just commented on Chastain very slow to pit lane and was almost, well, decapitated by Bell and Wallace coming from behind him.
It was hilarious imagery to see Bell and Wallace both with their hand out the window and while they were going down the straightaway. That was, I mean, that could have been enormous, and thankfully it wasn't. But oh my gosh. Tyler Reddick last time around was 0.2 of a second faster than Denny Hamlin, but still the lead is right around 3 seconds, and the way this race has gone today makes you believe that what you got right now is probably what you're going to have to the end of this race if it stays green. But just to reiterate the point, we have not gone, no one's gone longer than about 40 or 45 laps on tires all day long, Matt. And as we said, when Denny Hamlin made that early pit stop, that was going to help him make up the ground and get the lead, which he did do, but that means he's got to go to the end 52 laps on this set of tires.
Yeah. Go, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, yeah, I tell you, tire fall-off could be interesting to watch down the stretch and who handles it better. But Hamlin's leading at 3 seconds over Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and he's nibbling away, but he's not gaining in. In fact, he actually lost time on that last lap to the tune of about 2 tenths. So Reddick just, Hamlin, should I say, just doing enough. Reddick is safe, though. He's got almost 4 seconds to Larson behind him. As here is Bell trying to get that place back from Darrell Wallace Jr.
Yeah, Wallace. Wallace, boy, he's had a bit of a problem there coming off, and Bell just blew by him. So Christopher Bell now makes the pass, and Bubba Wallace makes the pass. Well, Bell fights back on the outside. My gosh.
And Fox again knows what they're doing, as the 8 and 11 have gotten close together on the racetrack again. Seth, any interference being run by car 8?
No, looks like all talk and no action again. As Hamlin goes up, Busch is going to try to stay in front of Hamlin, but he can't do it. Hamlin will complete the pass on him.
Busch trying his best here to hang in with the leader, though he is now about to go 5 laps down and he's last. But he is racing for the World Championship of being last here, is Busch. Hamlin now does complete the pass in 1 and 2. Busch trying to swing back underneath, but then he will have the spot.
So Hamlin will go by Busch. Yeah, Kyle Busch. They just read a statistic where he's now spent like 1,000 laps outside the top 20 or something to that effect. I mean,
my goodness.
I talked about this the other night. You hate to say it to any Kyle Busch fan that might be out there, but it may be time to officially put him in the category of Jimmy Johnson, Darrell Waltrip, Richard Petty, Tony Stewart even, drivers who just did not have a very good twilight of their careers.
Well, and of course, so much of the conversation around him this week has been about, is it him or the team and the car that he's in? And you can certainly make the case that he is not anywhere close to being in a top-tier ride. But with that said, Matt, you made mention earlier, you always look where Kyle's running, and then you look where Austin's running. Austin's not having an awful day, is he? He's 18th. He's on the lead lap. Now, Kyle's been having what he says is some brake issues or some kind of issues underneath that car today. But as you said, he's now dead last, is Busch, and his teammate is, 19 positions and 5 laps ahead of him.
Yeah, it's sort of about normal, isn't it? You would, in running order for Austin, but Kyle's had tire come apart on him earlier, and then has been reporting brake problems as well. So, take that away a little bit. It's still not at the sort of spec that his teammates been running. So we say all this stuff, and he'll probably end up winning next week at Talladega. Denny Hamlin coming towards the line with 23 laps to go. The gap has shrunk while we were looking elsewhere. It's down to just over 2 seconds now. So Reddick has had a bit of a breather on his tyres, maybe, and now he's trying to wind on the coals. But you don't want to leave it too late here and run out of laps.
We'll see. The lead stays a comfortable one for Denny Hamlin. He leads Tyler Reddick. Then you got Kyle Larson running back in the 3rd position. But, yeah, I mean, this is just going to be an interesting race to follow. And, of course, we could get a late caution, so you just never know.
Well, it would be very apropos on a day where we have had no yellow for incident, Matt, if we were to get a late one to change the complexion of everything.
Hour trying to get through the next 20 laps. Yeah, no, I get what you're laying out here.
Yeah. We've talked about Alex Bowman and Corey Heim at times today. They're running together in 14th and 15th, and actually right there with them behind is Riley Herbst. Seth made mention earlier Riley's had a decent day, and he really has. He's running in the 16th position, right in behind Bowman and Heim. So, honestly, Matt, really good to see all 3 of these guys on the lead lap and in the top 20.
Yeah, and battling amongst themselves as they come out of turn number 4. And Heim is going to put the pass on Bowman, or at least try to. There we go. Very much side by side coming out of the corner, almost a rub there between these two. One looking for a job in Heim, and one trying to hang on to his in Bowman. And Herbst in the back of this battle as well. Heim will make the pass on Bowman with a bit of a slide job. That will slow the 48 down. And Riley says, thank you, I'll take the momentum here and take the pass.
Bowman, though, fighting back, though, top side as they approach turn number 3. Herbst, the good run to the inside. Herbst, though, up the track a little bit. Bowman's going to complete the pass outside, or is he?
Riley saw what Corey did on the last set of corners and said, I'll try it too. He tried a slide job in the middle of the corner. It didn't complete it, but still they're wheel-to-wheel going to 1. And Riley might try it again. Does he mash the accelerator middle of the corner? Yes, he does, Seth. Slide job on.
Yeah, but Bowman was wise to it, and he blows by on the inside. They go down the track a little bit. It's Bowman with the advantage. Herbst now on the high side of the racetrack. He'll try to wind it up again. Good run, Riley Herbst. He'll be alongside Alex Bowman again.
Yeah, on the outside coming out of 4, and we'll have the momentum this time to get ahead as they head back towards 1. Will Bowman recoil and try again? We'll never know because we've jumped on board with Tyler Reddick, who is now 1.5 seconds. So it's another half second. He's taken out of the leader in the last, 5 laps or so since I mentioned it before. So the gap is creeping down. Absolute no pressure from behind. Almost 10 seconds. Larson now is back of the leader.
I was not prepared for the most entertaining battle of the day to be Alex Bowman versus Riley Herbst, but here we sit with 17 laps to go, and that was very entertaining between Alex and Riley. As Hamlin,
add that to the list of things you didn't expect to say today.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Denny Hamlin completes another lap. 17 laps remain. Tyler Reddick cast out the rod, trying to reel him in one more time, but the first thing that Reddick's got to do is get around the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. car. Here is Reddick on the approach to turn 3. He'll dive it down to the inside and complete the pass on Stenhouse, and now There is only open road between Reddick and Hamlin. At the line, 16 laps to go. The lead is a second and a third. Let's follow the leaders back into turns 1 and 2.
It's Hamlin by a little more than a second over Tyler Reddick as they work their way down the back straightaway. Just smooth and steady, hit your marks has to be the message to Denny Hamlin. That's probably what he's telling himself as he goes up against the wall and runs that high line as he sweeps out of 4.
No cars between them at the moment, so Reddick can see his boss, his prey, and erase another race victory right in front of him here with 15 laps to go. This is going to be a close finish. We perhaps didn't expect that this would happen, but Reddick is on the charge with those, 3 or 4 lap newer tyres?
Yeah, he picked up 0.2 last time. It's still 1.1 second the interval, but Reddick is slowly gaining on it. It might just be a question now of time. Reddick up against the wall trying to gain as much as he can on Hamlin.
Off of turn 4 and back to the line. Hamlin crosses the stripe. His lead on Reddick, will call it 8 car lengths. On the stopwatch, it is now under 1 second.
Yeah, 2 more tenths cut off that time as Reddick is trying to reel Hamlin in down the back straightaway. Hamlin keeps his lead. Smooth, solid, and steady. Now up against the wall in turn number 3. Reddick is right there too. Reddick goes a little bit lower this time. Hamlin's still the leader.
Under a second as they hit the line. Traffic on the horizon, but it is only a single car. 0.6 is the gap at the line. So we are going to get a finish of some rebuke here because Reddick is absolutely getting his talons into the back of that 11 car.
Another 3 tenths taken off the lead. Hamlin now with about a 5 car length lead over Tyler Reddick on the approach to turn 3. Hamlin now goes to the bottom of the racetrack, perhaps to shut off some of Reddick's advances, but Reddick is gaining.
We know Denny Hamlin is a great defensive driver. He knows how to manipulate the air from the front. He's going to have to be masterful at it here because Tyler Reddick continues to chomp away at the gap. It's down to 4 car lengths.
Yeah, he is there. No more tenths. It's all about car lengths at this rate. 3.5 separate Hamlin from Reddick going into turn number 3. Reddick now up against the wall. He'll try to wind it up. Don't hit it too much there, Tyler. He's got a really good run off 4.
Not going to be close enough at the moment. Austin Dillon is the lapped car that they're about to catch as they flash across the line, and he'll get the slipstream as they head towards 1, and he'll dive, but he wasn't too close to get the move done. Hamlin will cover that off for the moment, but it's close.
Boy, he just went up there to rate of knots. Now Reddick to the inside, or tucked in behind Hamlin. It's Hamlin and Reddick going to turn 3. Reddick now on the inside, trying to get to the quarter panel of Denny Hamlin.
Tyler Reddick
is there. He'll get alongside. Hamlin's still the leader.
And Reddick does get to the left elbow of Hamlin. They come across the line. Hamlin half a car length in front, but Reddick might have the better line going into 1. He stuffs it in on the bottom of turn 1. Reddick drifts up the banking, clears across the nose of Denny Hamlin. New leader with just 10 laps to go.
What a move. An old school move by Tyler Reddick. He just hunted, and then made the pass. And will he be able to drive away is now the question. He's already a couple of car lengths ahead of Hamlin.
When that gap was hovering around 3 seconds, we hypothesized that it was Hamlin keeping Reddick at arm's length. Maybe it was the other way around with Tyler looking after his tyres. Has Denny got anything left in the tank here to come back at the 45 as they come out of 2?
Reddick keeps the advantage by about a car length as they go to turn 3, exiting the back straightaway. It is Reddick. Hamlin now will try that high line and try to wind it up and get some momentum. Reddick, though, keeps the advantage.
Hamlin loads it up around the top, but Reddick's lead is still at 3 car lengths. Flashing across the line, the leaders go. With 8 laps to go, Tyler Reddick in race 9 of the year looking for his 5th win. The last driver to have 5 wins in the first 9 races of the year was Dale Earnhardt in 1987.
In other words, it's been a minute. Michael Jordan looking on. Is the boss man about to have another win? Hamlin now up against the wall. Lap traffic could be in play here.
A bit further forward, in front of them in terms of on the racetrack, behind them in the running order, Chase Briscoe under attack here from Corey Heim for 13th position. Meanwhile, leaders close together in one. Denny got the great run there down the straightaway with the slipstream. Wasn't close enough to throw an attack at Reddick, who is now right to the back of the bumper of the Austin Dillon automobile.
But he got a great run out of turn 2. Hamlin, he's right there to the inside. Denny Hamlin inside of Tyler Reddick for the lead. Hamlin with a nose out in front. Reddick up against the wall, fights back high side. Reddick takes it back.
I'm not sure why Tyler Reddick would come off the wall right now and give Hamlin a chance to load up a run around the top. That's exactly how Ryan Blaney lost the Homestead race a couple of years ago to Tyler Reddick. This time in 1 and 2, Reddick again can barely fit a sheet of paper between the right side of his Toyota and the outside retaining wall.
He knew better that time. He keeps the lead back straightaway. Austin Dillon still right in front of these two. It is Reddick against the wall. Hamlin now way to the inside. Austin Dillon a roadblock right now.
A nervous-looking MJ watching on from pit lane. The Dillon car still in front of these two leaders, and he's going to block Reddick, in fact, a little bit as they head towards turn 1. That might leave the door open for Hamlin. He dives forward, but wasn't quite close enough to get alongside.
Almost to the quarter panel. We've had a lot of great Kansas finishes. Are we setting up for another Kansas Classic? It is Reddick by about a car length over Hamlin. Going into turns 3 and 4, they're both right up against the wall. Actually, now Reddick goes low, Hamlin up against the wall, trying to get by Austin Dillon.
Plenty of traffic ahead of the leaders as Hamlin fishtails it a bit out of 4 with 4 laps to go. 2 of the last 4 Kansas races has had a final margin of victory of less than 1/10 of a second. Could it be another one today?
They go by the Alex Bowman automobile. They sweep it out of turn 2. Reddick now will try to reel the Tai Dillon automobile in. He'll go to the inside of them and sweep past Tai Dillon. Hamlin against the wall now has to deal with Tai Dillon. That's going to be a big push for Reddick, and it'll help him extend the lead.
What a run from Denny, though, through 4. He got a huge launch down the hill there, and that'll peel him past Ty and get him right to the... I was about to call that it might be all over for Denny, but here he is, right to the back of Tyler Reddick, free to go.
Kind of pushed up, though. Bit of arrow wall he might have hit there, and that kind of hurt him. Reddick now going to leg it out by about an extra half a car length on the back straightaway. Going to turn 3. Reddick up against the wall. Hamlin against the wall. Oh, Reddick got the wall! He got the wall! Hamlin to the inside! He's got the lead back!
Reddick slapped the wall in the middle of 3 and 4, and Hamlin slides to his inside and gets through to the lead. 2 laps to go. Is there time for Tyler Reddick to rebound and recover? If he does have time, it's not a lot.
Michael Jordan absolutely distraught. He cannot believe it. Reddick now running out of time for one last charge. Down the back straightaway. He'll try to pack it into the number 3 corner. Gets to within 2 car lengths of Denny Hamlin. Oh, trouble! Cody Ware spins in front of the leaders. And with 2 laps to go, the caution comes out. And we have overtime. I do not believe it.
Unbelievable.
Of course we do.
We talked about 25 laps ago how believable it would be to have a caution late, but still, it's unbelievable. Caution comes out just as Denny Hamlin was inside a quarter mile to the white flag. What an incredible duel between Reddick and Hamlin. Reddick charging to grab the lead. Then he made a mistake to give it up. It looked like Hamlin had it in the bag, and then a spin right in front of the whites of their eyes from Cody Ware. And the first caution for cause on the day comes on lap 266 3/4. And for the 3rd time this year and 2nd week in a row, we will go to overtime. And Matt, you must come to pit road now. You've had about 50 laps on your tires.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be everyone come, but who's going to take 2? There's going to be people that roll the dice here that were in the teens and will want to try and make a jump up the order, and even by 3 or 4 spots that might, make their day. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on pit road when we get it. But we're talking this up all day that we haven't had a caution, and we get one with 1.7 miles to go.
Tyler Reddick had pulled up alongside Hamlin under caution as if he was contesting that maybe he was in front at the time of yellow.
No.
But Hamlin has been confirmed through timing and scoring as the leader. Oh, dear me. And would
Just
you
when a couple of us were
believe?
looking at
This
the
is
clock.
why you never give up on a NASCAR
Yeah,
race.
that's right.
No, we don't. And we just as a couple of us were looking at the clock and going, "Oh, excellent! Oh, here we go."
Hey, someone left a comment in the chat, and I see Reddick. Is Reddick out of fuel potentially, or low on fuel?
Surely not. I mean, he pitted 6 laps later than Hamlin, so if he was struggling with fuel, I think Hamlin was. Now, these two had about an 11-second lead on Kyle Larson, so these two are going to be able to come to pit road way ahead of everyone else. Pit road is open, and Tyler Reddick is beating on the bumper cover of Hamlin coming onto pit road. Reddick wants to get on with this. Remember, on the final green flag pit stop, Hamlin had a better stop than Reddick.
And these two have got a big advantage over Kyle Larson, who was 10 seconds back on the racetrack when the caution came out with many lap cars in between. Here we go. Hamlin to his pit lane, stall, right side tyres going on the 11, and they are going with just right side tyres either way.
Hamlin leaves with just 2 tires. He'll win the race off, but Reddick also only took 2. Oh my goodness, I think everyone only took 2.
I think so.
God.
Oh,
Our commenter there wasn't the only person suggesting that Reddick might be very low on fuel. I've just seen in another chat that I'm in that there were suggestions of that. Right rear down for Cody Ware in replay, so it wasn't just a spin because he wanted to. He had a flat tire.
And as we said, this was the longest run.
Special.
It was the longest run of the day on tires.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anyone in the top 5 or 6 took 4, though. I'm very surprised by that.
As am I.
I am checking.
Last time we came to Kansas, there was a late caution with all Toyotas at the front, and a Toyota did not get to the finish line first, Matt. And on this restart...
Yeah.
Now hold on a minute. Someone did stay out. According to timing and scoring, it's Austin Dillon that leads this motor race.
Oh dear God.
Did he get lapped before the caution? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he got lapped. Unless he got a free pass, which I don't think that would have been the case either.
We'll look to confirm. Timing and scoring has him as the leader. If he's not, it will be 4 Toyotas in the top 5 positions. And a Hendrick Chevrolet in the middle of it, just like last fall, Matt. Last fall it was Chase Elliott.
I've got the stat.
Could be Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott today. What you got, JT?
Denny Hamlin, 2 right tyres. Tyler Reddick, no tyres but fuel. Kyle Larson, 2 right. Also for Bubba Wallace, 2 right. 4 tyres for Carson Hocevar, 2 right for Gibbs, 2 right for Priest, 4 tyres for Heim, Hurst, Byron, and, Bell didn't stop. But yeah, also 2 right for Elliott, Cindric, Busher, and 4 tyres for Briscoe. But yeah, the highest car with 4 tyres, Hocevar in 5th. Reddick, interestingly, fuel, no tyres.
Well, no,
That's an interesting.
Reddick took tires. We saw him take 2. He definitely took 2.
It has just updated on my screen, yes. 2 right.
Real quick. Dylan got the free pass. Bowman, Gilliland, and Suarez wavering.
Okay, very good. Well, remember, in that fall race that I was mentioning a moment ago, where it was all Toyotas at the front, but Chase Elliott won, Chase restarted in overtime in row 5 and got through all of that traffic to win. Here it is. Here's confirmation for anyone doubting me. Oh, wow. You never know.
Well, if Carson Hocevar's back there with 4 tyres, what did you say earlier? In the hurricane comes to Tornado Valley.
Yes. Now, where is he
might be on
at?
for something like that.
Timing and scoring has him 16th, Hocevar.
Yeah, he might be a bit far back.
Okay, now let's reset for you now that everything has recycled. The top 10 took 2 tires. So that means the first driver in the running order on 4 is Chase Briscoe 11th. Briscoe at 11th on down is on 4.
Okay.
Christopher Bell will restart 4th, or at least he's in line 4th. We'll see where he goes on the choose. According to NASCAR Insights, he ranks number 1 so far this season on restarts. And there is that confirmation for those that were doubting.
Ah, dearie me. So yeah, 4 Camrys in the top 5 with the lone Chevrolet up there. The highest Ford is Brad Keselowski in 6th. He's got another Toyota behind him in Tai Gibbs. So 5 in the top 7. We're about to get the choose.
I had someone comment on the TikTok earlier this week, You should take over the Fox production truck. And at this point, I basically have. I say something and it pops up on screen.
Not the TikTok.
TikTok.
We're going to have some content for the TikTok after this race, the way it's going. Here we go.
Can I do the thing, Matthew?
Oh, yes, do the thing, JT, as we get ready for OT.
Row 1, inside Hamlin, outside Reddick. Row 2, inside Larson, outside Bell. Row 3, inside Keselowski, outside Wallace. Row 4, inside Elliott, outside Gibbs. Row 5, inside Briscoe, outside Cindric, and it disappears.
Well, you got the first 10 out anyway. All right, Seth. Loaded up and ready to go. Overtime for a second week in a row. Last week it produced a first-time winner. What will it produce this week in Kansas City?
Well, we have had some KC masterpieces over the years in terms of finishes at this track. Are we set for another one? Hamlin inside, Reddick outside, Larson and Bell, Wallace and Keselowski. You heard JT give you the whole order. In some ways, it feels like it could be anybody's race. Someone you know is going to try to make it 3 or 4 wide on the apron. What is going to happen? The crowd on its feet, they have stuck it out. Hopefully for them to be rewarded with an overtime finish. All right, Matthew Owens. Overtime in Kansas City. Let's go.
Kyle Larson restarting inside row 2. You know he will make a dive into the restart zone. Green flag up in the air. Overtime underway at Kansas. Denny Hamlin gets away well. There goes Larson, sledgehammering it to the inside of Hamlin and stacking it up 3 wide for the lead. Bell up the top might make it 4 wide for the lead off turn 2.
Bell got clipped and he's sideways. Bell into Hamlin. Hamlin way down to the apron. Hamlin with a dart in front of oncoming traffic. Larson to the lead. Reddick sailing on the outside of Hamlin. He's up to second. Bell lap.
Chase Briscoe's up to 5th on the 4 tyres. Watch out for him. We get the white. Larson will take it. White flag up in the air. The race is official. Can Reddick run down Larson? He's going to try. He's going to dive bomb at turn 1. Chase, he's not going to get there, is he? Surely. Briscoe's involved. Hamlin on the outside. All to play for.
Larson now will go door-handed with Reddick. A little side draft. A little contact. Larson has the outside line. Reddick, though, with a surge on the inside. Reddick's going to complete the pass off 4.
Tyler Reddick off turn 4 to the lead. Kyle Larson trying to run him down, but he cannot. And at the checkered flag, Tyler Reddick has won again. Tyler Reddick, for the 5th time in 2026, is going to victory lane. The NBA playoffs kicked off yesterday. Today, Michael Jordan's team is going right back to victory lane. Oh my gracious, what a finish! Kyle Larson ripped the lead away from the Toyotas on the restart. But this time around in the return trip to Kansas, Matt White, the Toyotas got back to the finish line first. Tyler Reddick again. 5 wins in 9 races, the first driver to do it at the start of a season since Dale Earnhardt in 1987.
Historic run continues for the 45 team. The alley-oop on the day for Tyler Reddick. And he will burn it down in front of the Kansas fans here on the front straightaway with the window net down and the arm out the window. It's a smoke show. Reddick wins it from Larson. Chase Briscoe third with the 4 tyres. I seriously thought if there was one more lap there, Chase Briscoe would have won that race. That was an incredible run from him. But it keeps coming up diamonds for the 2311 team. Even if the owner driver didn't quite get the win again this week in Denny Hamlin, he finishes 4th.
Chase Briscoe from 11th on the overtime restart to 3rd. You called it right, Matt. He was ripping it on those 4 tires. And Seth, I don't fully know how Tyler Reddick completed that pass on the final lap on Larson because I thought he overshot it. But he picked it up, got the lead, and didn't give it up. Wow.
I said NASCAR. This is true for all auto racing. We mentioned Murray Walker earlier. Anything can happen in auto racing, and it usually does. That's why you never give up on a race. Because you just never know what surprises lurk around each corner. And yet, the result's still all the same. 5 from 9. 5 and Tyler Reddick through 9. Matthew, Tyler Reddick through 9 races is 5-4. Were the Chiefs 5-4 at any point this year? Most recent season.
2311 today, 1st, 5th, 14th and 15th. Not a bad day.
No.
For MJ.
No, not bad at all. Welcome to NASCAR Supply House. First time on the hood and quarter panels of a car, and they're going to victory lane. And Tyler Reddick, I don't know if he's been the best car in many of these races this year, but he's seemingly going to win them all. Let's hear from him. Well, just having some audio issues as Jamie Little.
And I never liked being on the other side of it. Really hate that for Christopher Bell. You know, it's good hard racing. 11 came up, and I took off tight. So not thrilled. I got Christopher there. I hate that for him because he's having a good, solid day. So, man, it's just these late race restarts, it gets really, really crazy there. And obviously I had to run on the 5, and I was just shocked I was able to get to his inside there. So just an incredible supply house Toyota Camry all day long. So, yeah, it was really thankful we got that late caution.
I know you said yesterday the focus has been getting back here to victory lane at Kansas, where you guys used to be. How much time and effort does this team put in to get back to this moment?
Yeah, a lot. We were really solid here last fall, and the car was a lot like that again here this weekend. So we didn't lead a lot of laps, unfortunately. I let Denny get away there in stage 1, and we were just behind running them in most of the time there. But, yeah, to be able to make the right call there, great call by Billy to put 2 tires on, and we didn't have the cleanest restart. I tried to cover the 20. He got outside, and, yeah, we were 3 wide and just all ran out of room.
How about MJ, the boss man? He shows up. You guys dominate practice, get the pole. What is it about his presence? You guys just seem to step up.
Got to deliver for boss man. If he's going to come hang out with us, we got to get him dubs. That's what it's all about.
All about the wins. There's MJ. 5th time this season. How about this moment? We watched those emotions. What was that like watching those closing laps?
Well, I mean, look, I'm racing against Denny. So in essence, I really wanted to beat him because I know we're going to talk a lot of trash a little bit later. But it was a good race. When we started to run out of fuel, I didn't know what was happening. But 23-11, all the guys drove well today. I mean, we finished, I think, all 4 cars in the top 15. So, I mean, that says a lot about the program. And this kid is on fire. I don't even know what to say. I don't know if I can cool him down. He's unbelievable. That was an unbelievable last couple of laps, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the whole team.
Michael, how much fun is this for you, the wave that you guys are on this season?
When you win, it's always fun, and right now it's fun for everybody at 23-11. So, I mean, me being here and being able to see all the wins, I am so happy for the team, and I just think we need to continually build on this, without a doubt.
Congratulations, MJ. Tyler Reddick, he gets the winning flag, and it's the 5th win on the season.
Just incredible as Kansas delivers again. And before everybody comes at me and yells out, "Oh, it was boring all day," we were going to get a spectacular finish before the caution, and we get a spectacular finish after the caution. Kansas, again, Boy, is Kansas Speedway's on a heater, but no one's on a bigger heater right now than Tyler Reddick. What a show he is putting on. I mean, we talked all day about this is the quarter mark of the season. Well, God bless. If he stays on this trajectory, he's on pace to win 20 races this year, guys. Golly. And as you say, Matt,
is it possible to clinch early in the chase format? Because he might do that at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no kidding.
Boy, that won't get anything started on Twitter or anything.
No, not at all.
Since Daytona, at the 500, from which Tyler Reddick, of course, won. First, 8th, 13th, 1st, 15th, 4th, 1st.
And I am going to have to, we're going to have to get the crack research team, which is, me, on this during the week before we go on air next week for Talladega. I'm going to have to take a look and see, has there ever been a driver that ran a full season, won 0 races, and then the next year won 5? I mean, gosh, what a run.
You know what? I think I might have that answer for you. How many did Hamlin win in 2019? Because remember, he went winless in 18.
That's true. Wow.
I'm actually looking it up right now.
I get the research crew on it now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm looking at it. Denny Hamlin, did not win in 2018. And then in 2019, he won 6 races.
Wow. Okay.
I can tell you, it was Shane Van Gisbergen last year.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Of course.
Wow. Well.
Of course. The bubble.
You would know that off the top of your head.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's...
I was just sitting there counting. I was like, hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute. Well,
he wasn't a full-time driver, so perhaps that doesn't count as a stat, but...
Well...
But yeah, true, but still, mathematically,
Yeah.
Well, Tyler has... he's on a heck of a run. He's won 5 of the first 9. As we mentioned, first time a driver's made it through the first 9 races of the year with 5 wins since Earnhardt in '87. In fact, that year Earnhardt won 6 of the first 9, on his way to a runaway championship. And who knows, maybe Tyler Reddick's on his way to a runaway championship. He extends his championship lead, which was already 62 points at the start of the day on Ryan Blaney, who finished all the way back in 24th. We will...
All 37 cars running today, by the way.
Yeah, how about that? See if JT sends me the updated championship standings. I know he's very busy getting ready for IndyCar, which starts here in a matter of moments. This, by the way, is exactly the kind of day that American and really world motorsports fans needs. Fox airing the NASCAR race, and it ends, and you can go straight into Fox airing the IndyCar race. Amazing how that works. And
more of that, please.
Here we go. Thank you, JT. Boy, he's on it. He's always on it. Here's your updated championship standings. Tyler Reddick started the day with a 62-point lead in the championship. He will exit with a 105-point lead in the championship.
Ooh.
Over Denny Hamlin, who jumps to second. Ryan Blaney slips back to third, 120 points back of Reddick. Tai Gibbs is fourth in the championship. Where did Gibbs finish? He finished 9th. That's the worst finish he's had this year on the non-super speedways. Incredible stuff. And Kyle Larson remains 5th, actually jumps from 6th to 5th in the championship standings. By the chase cut line, Daniel Suarez now sits in 16th. He is 13 points above the chase cut line ahead of Austin Cindric. Shane Van Gisbergen drops from the bubble 16th down to 18th. The driver that jumped from outside the chase line to in is Chase Briscoe, jumping from 17th to 15th. And Ross...
Chase is in the chase.
Yes, both of them. And despite his terrible day, Ross Chastain actually gained a spot on A.J. Allmendinger in the standings, interestingly enough. So Ross moves up to 20th. That will get him to page 4 of the championship standings on our pre-race next week. That's what everybody wants to be on. That is everyone's goal, is to be on our pre-race show in the championship standings. Before we give final thoughts and sign off, JT, we've got Denny Hamlin on pit road with Jamie Little. Let's hear from the runner-up today. His third place finish today for Denny. I beg your pardon.
Dominant car today, led 131 laps. And Denny, this is probably the most frustrated and heartbroken maybe that I've seen you before. What was the most frustrating part of those last closing laps?
I mean, obviously it's not winning. It's Cody Ware 6 laps down, wrecking. I don't know. It just added up. I fell for the same move that the 5 got me a couple of years ago when I was on the inside, and so I got to learn from those mistakes that I'm making and not executing those last few laps.
Did you get into the wall?
Yeah, I had a big run off turn 2, 19. I think it's probably on 4 tires there, and so it wasn't a whole lot of room, but I wasn't going to lift, and so I just got in the wall, but it didn't really affect the finishing position.
Thanks, Denny. Denny brings it home 4th. Regan.
Well, Kyle Larson comes home in the runner-up spot. Kyle, looked like you got the restart that you wanted at the end there. Once you got the lead, what were you thinking at that point?
When it all worked out like that, I was like, oh, great, clean air. And then I went through 3 and 4, and I was plowing, and I was nervous. And then I could tell he had a huge run on me behind, and thought, maybe if I could get to the banking, it would load and cut, but it didn't. So, he was really good right there. And I was just hoping to be better. I was happy to get to the lead. The restart worked out great, but and anyways, we got lucky with the caution too. So, good day. I think second in the first stage, first and a second in the race. So, we're getting closer, really close there, but we'll keep trying.
Thanks, Kyle.
That winless drought will go to 33 races for Larson, but he's been super strong 2 weeks in a row at Bristol and Kansas, 2, of course, of his best tracks. Now he goes to a super speedway. He's never won on one of those. Chad Conway in the chat section on Ultimate Sports Media says, we appreciate y'all doing this. We appreciate you. Glad to have you with us. If you are new to either of the channels that we're on, USM or JBM, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Coming up on both of those channels in a matter of moments is Race 5 of the NTT IndyCar Series season. It's the 51st running of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Felix Rosenquist starts from the pole later tonight here on the Ultimate Sports Media Network at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got Game 1 of a Western Conference NBA playoff series between the Portland Trail Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs. A few minutes here to wrap up the day's action. You can see the finishing order on your screen. Mention that 2 of the last 4 Kansas races, final margin of victory of less than 1/10. Today, just a tick over, 0.118. Might as well. 1/10 of a second between Reddick and Larson at the finish of a race that only saw 1 caution for cause, but it came with 2 laps to go, forcing overtime. You heard Denny's comments there, not pleased about Cody Ware spinning. Again, not as if he did it on purpose, contrary to maybe what people believe. Those are the breaks in this sport. Denny knows that extremely well. All you have to do is go back to Phoenix of last year in November when the same thing basically happened. You heard him in those comments there with Jamie Little, though, saying that he let Larson get away with the same move that he got away with a couple of years ago, and it's absolutely right. 2 years ago, in this race, the race that had the finish at the line, closest finished ever between Larson and Buescher, it was an overtime restart with Hamlin, the control car, on the inside and Larson right behind him, and Hamlin threw it to the bottom onto the apron and put Hamlin 3 wide, and that's how Larson got to the lead that night, and he held on to win it. He doesn't hold on to win it here today, but that's why I said leading up to the restart, Larson from the inside of row 2 is going to make a dive, and indeed he did. Let's take a swing through for the final time today. Final thoughts. Start with you, Seth. Final thoughts and driver of the day, by the way, which we haven't done in a while.
Just really good race in general. A solid race in general, better than people will give it credit for. We were heading for a grandstand finish. We didn't get it. We didn't get it in regulation. We got it in overtime. Tough break for Cody Ware, but again, it did not happen. He did not do it on purpose. Driver of the day. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm just gonna go with the cheap answer again. Again, I'm trying to save money in my life, so I'm gonna go with Tyler Reddick, who was just there all day. He drove a smart race, a patient race, and bing, bang, boom. He was there at the end and got the W.
Well, that's what he does. As I said, outside of maybe Darlington, I don't think he's had the best car in any of the races that he's won, but yet he's finding ways to win. Matt, what about you?
As Steph's taken that one, I will take Corey Heim as my driver of the day. Another excellent job from the rookie-ish. It wasn't the best race, was it? But we were going to get a finish, and then we got a different kind of finish. Last stat on Reddick from me, he's won 5 races, and obviously has led laps in all of those races. What happened in the other races? He hasn't led a single lap. Only leads laps and then wins.
Amazing. Yeah. JT, by the way, behind the scenes says Chase Briscoe, driver of the day. He gave Bass Pro Shops a better spotlight compared to yesterday. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can also quickly, before we go, exclusively reveal that Tyler Reddick is now the new grid ranking leader after this victory. And after the IndyCar race, be sure to tune over to Grid Network TV for the wrap-up show on the weekend for this from IndyCar, which of course is yet to come.
Driver of the day for me, I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski. Toughed out a 6th place finish. He continues to be very strong here through the first quarter of the season. Fun day. Glad that 1, it was quick. Glad that 2, we got through it cleanly. God almighty, it only took a quarter of the season for us to do that. But fun day. Always glad to be with you guys, especially when the 3 of us can come together, and then we add JT into it. He was great behind the scenes as always. Yes?
And guys, they actually did a NASCAR race before an IndyCar race without overrunning on the TV schedule.
Yes.
Look at them go.
Look at them go.
More races that start at that time of the day would be lovely. Thank you.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Have fun, JT, on the IndyCar race. Long Beach coming up here on both of these channels.
I might just go to bed.
Yeah, he might.
I doubt that.
Yeah, well, indeed. Everyone here on both of these channels, enjoy Long Beach. We'll be back with you next Sunday for Talladega. Can't wait for that. All kinds of hockey and basketball and football/soccer between the race at Talladega next Sunday. And that's it for us. We say so long. Where Tyler Reddick has won yet again his 5th win of the season as he scores the victory in a thrilling finish at the Kansas Speedway. He wins the AdventHealth 400 Toyota, 4 of the top 5 finishing positions.